What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on? It's Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, friends and family? I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to hold me down. I see y'all in the chat. Woo! Last night was crazy. Good morning to Anton and all of the common sense thinkers. Good morning. Time to shake off the dusty and chase the bag. Let me see what else y'all got going on. Good morning. Good morning. I'm going to Walmart, Target, and Best Buy today. I'm going to buy something today. All right, listen. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. I appreciate y'all for continuing to hold me down. They said I was on one last night. We was having a good show last night. That's what we was doing. Y'all not ready for me to be show you my toxic masculinity side? Oh man. What up, y'all? You said you're gonna blow a bag, you're gonna spend all of your money today. You're at Target. I could see Target. If I just go outside and I look down the street, I could see what the movement is at Target and stuff like that. I'm not really sure. Let me see something really quickly. I just want to see something really quick. Yeah, man, I'm not really sure what y'all got going on out there, but I will tell you that it seems like that people are just moving like normal. It seemed like it was a decent amount of people, a lot of people that was shopping at Target and stuff like that. I don't know if it's just the area that I'm in, but it seemed like everything was pretty normal to me. You know what? I just don't care. I genuinely don't. I don't care what nobody else got going on. We gonna do what we gonna do when we want to do it, and we don't let nobody boss up on us or no organization. We don't even know who own these organizations. We don't even know who these people are. I'm not about to sit here and go back and forth with these people. Anyways, it's the area, Anton. Interesting. All right. Well, let's get into the show. So, first of all, I want to acknowledge the Cash Appers because you know I always like to acknowledge the people that support the platform. Robert Banks says, "Preach AD, your lady. Walk that, smack that A tariff." That was from yesterday. Tevin Matlock says, "We bringing back shame in 2025." Mike, that dude is in the building. I appreciate you. Thank you for holding me down always, Mike, that dude. And Spencer Campbell. Shout out to Spencer Campbell. I appreciate you also. You know, I haven't bought a return ticket yet. Thank you, Spencer Campbell. Thank you, Mike, that dude. I haven't bought a return ticket yet. I need to get a return ticket. I need to get a return ticket at some point. because I got to get back to the crib. I got to get back to the studio. I got to check on things. So at some point, I need to get a return ticket. One of the things that I try not to do, unless I'm going outside of the country, I'm going to have a specific agenda and I want to know when I'm coming back home. Anytime I'm traveling inside of the United States of America, I'm going to read the super chat shortly. Thank you, Chase Barnes. I do not do a round trip ticket. I only do a one-way ticket. And it doesn't mean like, oh man, I'm going to be there. But honestly, I just kind of like to live life by the seat of my pants. Because I don't know what my schedule is going to be like. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what time of the day I'm going to want to fly. I don't know how busy I'm going to be and all of that stuff. So I don't know what day I need to come back. I need to look at the weather patterns because the weather may change from day to day or something like that. So I don't know what I'm going to do and when I want to do it. So most of the time I only get a one-way flight wherever I'm going to go. And then, we'll figure it out after that. The one pullback from that, the one caveat from that is you don't always get the seat on the plane that you want. So it's a lot that goes with it. Anyways, what up to all of my friends? I see Sister in the chat, Kate Cooper, Kevin One, Molly, Don, what up? Kevin King says, live life by what? By the seat of your pants. You ain't never heard of that before? Is that how I go? I don't know. Your car says, facts, me too. I ended up in DC for a month before I went back to Cali. God be having a plan you don't know about until you get there. See? What up, Mr. Gooch? I appreciate you. AJY, salute. One of the things that you'll know here if you're new here, and make sure you hit a like for the algorithm and subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Join the Patreon tomorrow. Don't do it today. Join the Patreon tomorrow. One of the things that you'll notice if you're new here is that we highlight the chat. We really embrace the chat. There are other content creators, and we're going to go ahead and get started with the show and read super chats and get into prayer and get it popping because we got a lot to cover. Here on the Millionaire Morning Show, the Anton Daniels channel and After Hours, chat lives matters. So just a couple of ground rules for the people that may be new. You may have come in and think that you could just say whatever it is that you want to say. It's not that simple. You can. We're not an echo chamber. Even if you disagree with me, I'm okay with that. We're not going to time you out. We're not going to silence you. We don't do that here. We like all opinions. And again, especially if people that disagree with me, just know that I may call you to the front of the congregation. I don't want you to get offended because if you say things that I disagree with and I notice it in the chat, I may call you to the front of the congregation. Now, also, that is not a license for you to be a bad kid because I know that there are people that want attention. And so what happens is a lot of times people say things in order to try to get my attention just so I can bring them to the front of the congregation because they don't believe that they've gotten the attention that they supposed to got when they were younger at home. So don't do things just for the sake of trying to get me to bring you to the front of the congregation because you want some attention. That's not kosher. That's not manly. That's not adult-like, and we have to do better. Lastly, you can say what you want, but on the Millionaire Morning Show, it's a couple different things. No cursing on a daytime show. That's for after hours. That's A. And then B, we want to make sure that we keep it on the people that's on the panel. No disrespecting people's children. Even if you're going back and forth with people in the chat, no disrespecting people's children, no talking about spouses, none of that type of stuff. And it's unfortunate that I have to lay these ground rules, but adults aren't always adults. Sometimes our maturity levels aren't to where they need to be. So we're going to make sure that we establish some cultural norms before we get into the show. If you are a truck driver, if you in the church, if you out here in the streets, if you work from home, if you in the office, turn me up. Turn me up. It is the Millionaire Morning Show, Friday, February 28th, 2025, year of our Lord, last day of Black History Month. We're going to cover the blackout, the economic blackout. And of course, I'm probably going to have to address some cultural norms. So let's talk about that. Zelenskyy is at the White House today signing a mineral rights deal. We're going to go over that. What's happening after that? Stephen A. appeared on Fox News. We're going to get to that. Women are being fired. We got to talk about that because they specifically voted for Trump and now they're saying that they regret their vote. So we got a lot of things to cover. It's a lot to go over. J.B. Pritzker, Illinois governor, leading the resistance of governors against Trump, all of that. All right, so make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats and we're going to get started with the show. Bishop Cam Nelson says, be safe and have a blessed weekend. Bishop Cam, appreciate you, Bishop. Dolores says, hey, Mr. Anton, I'm shopping today. I see you, baby. Buy me something nice. Chase Barnes in the building. Shout out to Chase. I appreciate you, big dog. Says, AD and peeps, this is to the I love capitalism and the value that AD and the Chasers provide on a daily. To the Blackie Blacks, to the Blackie Blacks, it's better on this side, ain't it? Talk about it. Javier, you know, I like to speak American. Javier says, hey, millionaire. When we'll change the name to Welcome to the Billionaire Morning Show? If I ever get to the Billionaire Morning Show, I'm doing something incredibly wrong because I probably sold out. You know what I'm saying? Good morning, Mr. Anton in the Millionaire Morning Show. I see you, P. Shank. Your profile picture looking real nice. Ups to wifey, Miss Poole, the best nurse in Phoenix. Shout out to Miss Poole. We love you, Miss Poole, over there in Phoenix. Albino says, watch Nick Fuentes. I guess he's talking about Nick Fuentes this morning. So the numbers are in. Trump was voted in by Gen X, but older millennials born before 1988, and Zoomer men by huge margins. The working people spoke loudly. We spoke. Nick Fuentes. I know you said you don't care for reparations, but do you think the survivors or the families of the Tulsa race massacre deserve some form of payment? Honestly, I just don't care. I don't care. I honestly, I mean, if you're asking for my honest opinion, I can give you the political opinion. Either way, it really doesn't matter to me. I don't live my life in the past. Does that make sense? Like, I can acknowledge it. I can pay attention to it. I can say that it's wrong. I could say that, you know, it shouldn't have happened, whatever, so on and so forth. But honestly, I'm so focused on the future. I'm so focused on taking care of business. I genuinely don't look behind me. Like, I use it as motivation, but I'm not going to have that. People every day. Honestly, I'm gonna just leave it at that. I just want to leave it at that. I'm so focused on what I got going on. I'm so focused on what's in front of me. I'm so focused on taking care of business. I'm so focused on trying to make sure that my people, as far as the people that work with me and work for me and the bag chasers, is getting the value that they need and all of that. I'm just focused on that. I don't care. I genuinely don't care about okay, you want me to go even further? If you're not a bag chaser, if you're not on a subscriber, if you're not a person that tunes into me on a regular basis, I don't care about you. I'm not one of those people that feel things and feel the need to go and get involved. If you're not in Detroit, like, I'm the type of person, and this will give you a better understanding of who I am and how much of a savage I am. I'm the type of person that if I see a homeless person in Miami asking me for money, I won't give it to him. Because see, in my mind, the way that my mind works, you know how they say that, the way my mind works? The way my mind works is I got to hold on to that money so I can give it to the homeless people in Detroit. Because that's my home city. I care more about what's happening in Detroit than I do over here in Miami. I think that the people that are residents of Miami need to take care of their homeless people. And I'm going to make sure that the people that I know that are homeless in Detroit, that's who I'm going to spend my resources on. So if you are not inherently a part of what I believe is meaningful to me, if you're not in my circle, if you're not somebody that's in my community, if you're not a bag chaser, if you're not a subscriber, like I don't pay attention to you. I don't care unless you are a person that is meaningful to me. Does that make sense? Like, in my mind, that's not my business. Now, I can comment on it. I can look at the news stories. We can react to it or whatever. But when it comes to meaningful things in real life, I align myself with people that I actually can touch, that I can see, that I meet up with when I go to these meetups, when I kick it with people in real life. So I don't know those people. God bless them. I hope that everything works out for them. Prayers up for them. When people die in society, I'll be like, man, that's tripped out. All right, so what's going on with y'all? More life for y'all. I'm more focused on more life for the people that are in my circle than, because you got a certain amount of energy to put out in your lifetime. You got a certain amount of energy to put out today. And I'd rather spend my energy, my prayers, things that are meaningful to me on things that and people that impact me in real life. I don't care about the things that everybody else got going on. It doesn't matter to me. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, pray for the people over in wherever, this country. No, I'm going to pray for the people here in America. Like, God bless them. I hope that they work that out, but they need to get their own prayers and they need to make their own country. We got enough problems here in the United States of America. I got enough problems in Detroit. I got enough problems in my own family. I got enough problems amongst the bag chasers of people that may be going through things or something like that. I don't have the energy or the capacity to be worried about what everybody else is talking about. I got people that I'm touching grass with, as my girl Molly like to say, right here in my own circle. Why would I give to your cause when I can give to my own circle? You know what I'm saying? So I guess that's the long answer is I genuinely don't care about anybody that is not in my proximity, my circle, that I can't kick it with and does not add value into my life. I just reciprocate energy and hopefully I add more value into your life. Don't care about anybody else except for that. All right. Let me read a couple more super chats and we'll get started with the show. Nick Freitas is a VA assemblyman from Culpeper, VA. Would be a good guest for you or angry man on the panel. Good dude, has a channel. Interesting. Okay. Amani, shout out to Armani. I appreciate you. Speaking of Detroit, Michigan, I was told y'all had the most reasonable housing prices in the country for 2024. Do you agree? I don't know. It depends on what your budget is. What's reasonable? It depends on where you live at. You know what I'm saying? So I live in my zip code inside of Detroit is the highest net worth zip code. Is literally the zip code where the Renaissance Center and the General Motors building is. So it might be different for me. But if you go outside of the city, it may be a little bit unaffordable. If you go to Birmingham, Michigan, it's very unaffordable depending on what your bracket is. If you go in the inner city of Detroit, it may be more affordable. So it just depends on what you're looking for. Anton, pray for my wife. She lost a friend of 20 plus years to cancer. I don't know what to tell her. I love your message. Wifey, we love you. Life goes on. I know you're grieving at the moment. I'm praying for you. I hope that everything works out for you. But just remember this, your friend is not suffering no more. Hopefully they're in a better place and they would love for you to move on, because if it's me, I don't want anybody to continue to grieve. I want somebody to show me how much they appreciate me by living life and making it meaningful. So God bless you. I hope that everything works out for you. Shout out to Boku Flavors and Praline says, Bag Chasers, we just hustle different. Thanks for all of the free games since 2020. By the way, check out the site. All right, bet. Make sure y'all check out this site and go and rock with them. All right, y'all. We got to go ahead and get started with the show. Thank you to everybody that continues to hold us down and contribute to the platform. We appreciate y'all. Let's get started with the show. Lord, we ask that you be with us and bless us. God, it was somebody that was in my comment section after the show. And they said, what kind of prayer is that? I ain't never heard no prayer like that before. That sounds like that was more you preaching than prayer. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is, because prayer is a petition for God, but it doesn't mean that you don't already know what we need. It's a relationship. Our relationship. You said your bride is the church. And so, as you shepherd over me, it's a similar situation. And when I'm shepherding over my wife, and that she don't always have to ask me what it is that she need or anything like that. Sometimes it's just a conversation and I'm able to decipher what's best for her. And that's what I do, God. Our prayers to you is different, and the world they're not gonna understand it because as an observer, they have never had a real relationship with you. But my prayer to you today is to touch somebody and help them to have a better relationship with you, similar to how you have a relationship with us, that way that they can have a better relationship with the people that's around them. They didn't hear me, God. Bless people to have a better relationship with you so that they can know how to have a better relationship with the people that's in their life. Sometimes we just venting. Sometimes we just praising. Sometimes we really are petitioning you for something that's meaningful in our life. And it doesn't mean that you don't know that we already need it before we needed it. You knew what was going to happen before we was born. But just the very acknowledgement in a relationship and showing you our sincerity may bring us closer to you. Prayer is a petition for us to you to really understand our hearts and to build a greater relationship with you, not necessarily for us to get more things. And so when we petition, and most of the time we don't even ask for ourselves, we ask it for other people, or we're looking to inspire other people so it can be coming across as preaching, but in reality, it's just building a closer relationship. We love you. We appreciate you. We know that you know your children. And everybody ain't your children, let's be clear. I know they like to say God love everybody. No, that's not true. Everybody not your children. If they listen and they listen to understand instead of listening to respond, they'll understand. They'll realize that they probably never really prayed a prayer in their life. They just recited some words. Bless us to have a closer relationship with you. And the closer I get to you, bless the people to get closer to me. Bless it to be reciprocated based off of our dedication and our faithfulness to you. I love you. I appreciate you. I ask everything in Jesus' name. And so for those of y'all that's watching us right now that just heard that, I'm going to need that to go deep in your spirit, deep in your soul. Let that go deep in your spirit. Some go deep in your soul. Some people said, somebody said, some people pray on your downfall. We don't care. And that should be P-R-E-Y. You can pray on my downfall, but God don't let you touch me unless he give you permission. So really, when you pray on somebody else's downfall, let me give y'all a little bit of lesson and we're going to jump into the show. When you pray, P-R-E-Y, on somebody else's downfall, really, you're hurting yourself. You're putting energy into something that you can't control, at the same time letting them take up space in your mind. Don't let that be you. You can be negatively motivated, but don't pray on somebody else's downfall. You know what? We getting deep tonight. We getting deep tonight on the after hour show. Make sure y'all tune in. It's going to get deep tonight. All right. We're going to have a different type of show tonight. I love you. I appreciate you. And again, we pray everything in Jesus' name. George says, thanks, Anton, for providing daily value into our lives, even the haters. When I'm rich, it'll be because of you and Kevin Samuels. And no, I won't discount my efforts. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, George. Did you cancel the show last night? I needed that, bro. What? I canceled what show last night? You wasn't there? Oh, you missed it, buddy. Molly was reading me the riot act last night. Molly was reading me the riot act last night. I'm going to just tell you right there. Anyways, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let's go ahead and get started with the show. Let's start with this economic blackout, all right? So the economic blackout, well, there's no need in me saying it. Y'all can just see it for yourselves. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Because I know that this is important. Now, let me switch over to premium because I know that I don't want no average in the middle of my stuff. So let's go ahead and switch over to premium, and then we're going to start talking about the economic blackout. All right. Let me share my screen with you guys. All right. Let's go ahead and get started with the show for real, for real.
People are putting their money where their principles are as consumers in the Chicago area take part in a one-day economic boycott. The 24-hour-long spending blackout is set for tomorrow, February 28th. Shoppers are being asked to skip buying anything essential that day, and if they do have to shop, try to buy locally at a small business. Lauren Jones is on board.
I feel like boycotting for a day or avoiding buying is one really easy way to get involved in the movement to kind of show that we're not happy with what's happening.
The collective action is meant to protest major retailers who have dumped their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs after President Trump and his administration eliminated federal DEI initiatives. It's estimated that Black consumer buying power in the United States is around $1.7 trillion annually.
People are ready to do something. So beginning tomorrow is the something that people are going to do.
Since organizers of the boycott came up with the idea, the economic protest has been expanded to include rolling monthly boycotts targeting other retailers and companies like Amazon, Nestle, General Mills, and McDonald's. And while some experts say a company can be shamed into reversing certain decisions, the question remains, can a boycott like this really work?
One day does not a boycott make.
Grocery store owner Liz Abono isn't quite sure. As the owner of the 40 Acres Fresh Market, she says without a clear goal, trading one shopping day for another doesn't address the root issue of mindsets around supporting Black businesses and the destruction of small neighborhood shops by big box retailers.
Another way to go back on that. I think my bigger issue with all of this is the fact that it has made me realize how dependent we are on these large corporations. And I think now is the time for us to say, where does that shift look like?
Local leaders are hoping to come up with a list of businesses for consumers to shop.
Either cut us in or cut it out. We don't have to shop everywhere. And so we're going to be talking about how do we diversify our spending.
Another group of faith-based leaders are planning their own boycott. Several of the boycotts.
Why does faith-based leaders always involve themselves in things that have nothing to do with them? That's my first question. I've seen Jamal Bryant, who I absolutely despise. I think that he is one of the trashiest, ashiest, silliest. I want to be famous / a preacher at the same time and leading my congregation down a pathway to destruction type people that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I wish I could really say what I wanted to say, but this is a Millionaire Morning Show. But why do faith-based, they don't say faith, they say faith-based. Notice the words matter. They don't say pastors, spiritual leaders, disciples of God. They don't say saints. They don't say Christians. They don't say anything like that. They say faith-based. Why do they say faith-based? And why are faith-based leaders always at the center of something that's the worst for the community? If you want to go into any community and you want to see how destroyed it is and how trashy it is, usually you'll go in and it'll have two things. Number one, it'll have a church on every corner. All four corners will probably be a church. And the second thing that it'll have is liquor stores. You know, I wish we would spend more time making sure that we protest against drug dealers. Oh, or maybe we should protest against Klarna. Have you ever thought about that? Afterpay. I got a novel idea. What if you decided not to shop using your American Express credit card that continues to keep you in debt? We should protest against not paying off our student loans so that we're not under duress. You know, people spend more time on the wrong things. And I'm trying not to make this a yesterday show, right? I'm genuinely trying not to make this a yesterday show. We spend more time on the wrong things trying to prove to people that we are worthy. We are going to be really diligent in making sure that we stick together. But how come it's never in the right things? How come it's always diversity, equity, and inclusion? And why is everybody always inserting themselves into things that is not their business? Honestly, I'm genuinely curious. Why is this always a thing? Why do I have to make sure that I prove myself to you? And here's another thing, because I can't wait to get on. This is White People Week too. This is nothing new for us. We're used to it. If you are a part of the Black community, then this is something that you probably are already familiar with. You're used to this. because we're used to being shamed. Black people are used to being called names. We're used to a mob mentality. We used to wannabes always trying to shame you into doing something that you don't want to do. So I very much expect for people to say, oh my God, I can't believe you. You the COON word, you a black raccoon, all of this other type of stuff. That's normal. We're used to it. Okay. This is white people week. This is definitely y'all week. Y'all gonna take these L's all week. All week. So think about it like this, right? Think about the last video that I just played. Now I'm about to play another video. Now, tell me what you think about this one.
February 28th, the 24-hour economic blackout. No Amazon, no Walmart, no fast food, no gas, not a single unnecessary dollar spent. For one day, we are going to finally turn the tables.
Maybe you've seen segments like this on your social feeds. This call for an economic blackout has been spreading, and activists are urging Americans to refrain from making any purchases at major retailers tomorrow on Friday. The nationwide protest comes as people continue to endure rising prices on everything from food and gas to housing and utilities. National consumer reporter for USA Today, Betty Lynn Fisher, joins us now from Akron, Ohio, to talk about what this all means. So fill us in. What is the purpose specifically of this blackout?
Good morning. So, this started out as you just saw the video of John Schwartz, who goes by the one called Jay on Instagram. And he says that it just started as a bold idea where he was frustrated and wanted to have consumers take back a day and, take a day starting tomorrow after midnight, and for 24 hours not to shop or spend any money anywhere in person or online, to just try to make an impact on what he calls corporate greed.
Now, think about this for a second. We just watched two videos. LaToya, you hit the nail on the head. Molly, you hit the nail on the head. Y'all hit it. Where's Toya? Let me find Toya's comment too. I gotta find Toya. Toya, you hit the nail on the head. It is. You hit the, listen, think about this for a second. Let me tell you how stupid these people are. Let me tell you how dumb these people, for those of y'all that's watching this right now that don't get it, for those of you that may even disagree with me, Toya hit the nail on the head. This is the funniest part about it. People don't even know who started it and why they doing it. Oh, they playing a game of telephone. They're playing a game of telephone. So this person think that they're doing it because of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And this person think that they're doing it because of corporate greed. And this person think that they're doing it because they want to get back at Trump. And this person is doing it because they want to make sure that they push their liberal agenda. Nobody even knows who started it. Nobody knows. So now you got white apologists that see black women say that we're going to protest because Black Lives Matters on the internet. And they are apologizing for black people. Meanwhile, some white man over here named Jay on X started a movement to make sure that they address corporate greed. And you dummies, you dumb to the dumbs, you dummies are over here putting your hats into the ring. And this, listen, I said it yesterday and I did a video and it wound up dropping last night. I said, I don't listen to nobody. The only person that I take my direction from is God. That's it. Because y'all stupids are over here protesting and getting involved in something that didn't even have nothing to do with you. You remixed it and tried to make it yours, and then y'all got y'all follower mentality because y'all sheep. All of y'all being led to the slaughter, and you hate each other and you hate different causes so much that you just adopted it to be yours, and you don't even know that you supporting something that ain't got nothing to do with you. You so, oh my God. Oh, look at these idiots. Listen, I just pulled up 4 different news broadcasts that are different people claiming that they're the ones that are pushing it and starting it and implementing it, and everybody got a completely different agenda, and nobody knows what the hell they doing, but everybody participating. You so stupid. You so dumb. That's why I don't listen to nobody, man. I stay in my own lane. I do my own research. And now you got black people getting mad at other black people because they don't follow them for doing something that they didn't even know why they was doing it in the first place. You got white apologists trying to follow black women to do something that they never even started. Oh my God. Nobody think for themselves. Nobody asked the question. Everybody just reposted it on TikTok. You start making your own video. You just start doing it for yourself. What idiots. Listen to it. Look, let me let her explain it to you. Don't mind me. Let me let her explain it to you.
Is there any hint or evidence as to how much this is catching on, and which companies, we heard him mention some of them, but which ones are being targeted, and why this date of February 28th?
Yeah, I think he just came up with a date when he was coming up with this bold idea for one date to start with. It does seem that this has become kind of a viral social media movement. There has been a lot of people posting. There are also, in addition to this is the People's Union, is John Schwartz's group. This is kind of their initial one-day boycott. They have since expanded, and they'll be doing some other events too. So tomorrow, there's not any specific company that is targeted. They have mentioned companies like Target and Walmart and Amazon, but the idea is not to spend money anywhere. But then there are other efforts by the People's Union, as well as other organizations that have been upset with companies such as Target and Walmart and Amazon that have rolled back their diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, as well as President Trump's elimination of federal DEI programs since taking office.
Yeah,
y'all are so dumb. Y'all are so dumb. And then y'all thought that they did it for the end of Black History Month. Look how stupid you look. They don't even mention you as a foundation of why they're doing this. And then there are other organizations that may be a little bit mad because they rolled back the diversity, equity, and inclusion. They don't even like you. You got an Asian woman in Akron, Ohio, and some random white man on X, formerly known as Twitter, organizing, and Elon Musk is letting y'all do it. He's not even censoring y'all. Y'all organizing around something that didn't even have nothing to do with you. You so dumb. You so dumb. Ugh. Meanwhile, activists is over here getting themselves ready and preparing in order to continue to go with it. Activists is getting ready to make sure that they get their diversity, equity, and inclusion on.
I'm going to tell you about a grassroots organization that's calling on people to boycott major corporations and retailers for 24 hours in what's being called an economic blackout.
NBC5's V. Wynn has more on what Chicagoans are saying about this movement locally.
Y'all thought that blackout meant black people, black culture. You thought because they put the word black in it that it was meaningful for you, didn't you? You thought that you was included? This is the real diversity, equity, and inclusion right here. This is truly diversity, equity, and inclusion. They want y'all to have equity in their protests.
Some people living and working in Chicago's Hyde Park say they're preparing for the economic blackout.
It's a big message.
and we really have to take it seriously.
We do have influence on where we spend our money,
Look at 'em.
and I think that it will get some attention.
We've been buying meals to make sure that we don't have to, buy anything to eat out.
Shannon Stokes and her family first heard about the nationwide boycott on social media, urging consumers not to shop or spend money at major corporations or retailers for 24 hours. That includes not getting fast food or gas or groceries in protest of everything that's been going on.
We have to make our voices heard in their pockets. There is absolutely no other choice that I would have.
A grassroots organization started.
Y'all so dumb. Y'all so dumb. And then let me tell you how dumb they are. They front loaded, overbought stuff the day before from the same retailers that they're going to protest the next day. Look at these dummies, man. Y'all, you just made me want to throw my computer. If I wasn't afraid that it would hit somebody on the sidewalk, I would throw my computer over this balcony right now. Such a follower, hive mentality. We have to make our economic dollar work for us. Oh my God. Yes, the stores was packed yesterday. It was so full. Oh my God. I love my people. You guys are the greatest fodder that I've ever experienced in my entire life. Look at these people. Look at these people.
There is absolutely no other choice that I would have.
A grassroots organization started the movement to showcase the buying power of consumers while protesting against major corporations like.
This is so dumb. I don't even want to review this no more. It's just stupid. It's all dumb. And I think y'all deserve yourselves. I think that y'all should marry each other. I think that y'all should procreate. I think that y'all all should live in the same neighborhoods with each other. I think that y'all should really hold on tight, stay focused. I also believe that y'all should all enroll in Dr. Umar's FDBMG, School of Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. I think y'all should donate to him. I think y'all should buy all of Derek Jackson's books. I think y'all should procreate, have children with each other, and make sure that y'all keep on holding each other's hands, singing Kumbaya, and we shall overcome. That's what I think y'all should do. Y'all deserve each other. The only thing that I'm telling my bag chasers and the people that's in this chat right now is be careful who you don't procreate with them. Don't mix and match with them. You got to be equally yoked. They all deserve each other. They seriously deserve each other. Griff Doctor says, Anton, your hate is showing. You absolutely right. I hate ignorance. I hate ignorant, dumb sheep that is leading other dumb sheep to the slaughter. And it's so silly. It's so silly. And you could even make the hate argument if I was like under duress, if I was divorced, if I was broken, if I was in family court, if I wasn't already rich, if I didn't have a huge platform where people love me, if I didn't have almost 15,000 bag chasers. You could say that. You could say that. AWJJ says you hate yourself in capital letters. Okay, that's cool. You could say that too. I hate your mother for having you. How about that? I hate the fact that God seemed fit to make you a court jester on this earth. I hate the fact that you a dummy and you can't get out of your mother's basement, yet you protesting against something and you don't even have $1,000 in your bank account if you had an emergency. I hate the fact that you don't pay your student loans and taxpayers had to bail some of y'all out. I hate the fact that they keep on giving you food stamps and you keep on going to the grocery store and selling them for half off and you're not even using them by food for your children that need you. That's going to be growing up to be a part of the prison industrial complex, and it's going to be making, they're going to be making plates for the back of my car. I absolutely hate the fact that your children is going to be a bottom for somebody inside a prison because you're not smart enough to divest yourself from the Democratic plantation that will ultimately harvest your labor to make my license plates. I hate the fact that it's more difficult for me to find different prison industrial complexes to invest in because I know it's going to be profitable because your children is going to be there. I hate that for you. I hate that for you. I do. I did a whole stock club on Patreon, probably about a few months ago, looking at the prison industrial complex and whether or not we should invest in it. It's a fact. It's a fact. I hate that for you. I hate the fact that your mother can't give up the box loud in her own household because she's so worried that it's going to interrupt you playing PS5 and Xbox Live, and that your friends is going to get mad at you because you're trying to figure out where you're going to respawn at on this current map of Call of Duty. I hate the fact that you're looking forward to GTA 6 more than you are on getting a better job and feeding your family and paying off your student loans. I hate that for you. I hate the fact that you are advocating for no snitching in your neighborhood and y'all have economic depression and a food desert and you sitting here talking about protesting when you need all of the help that you can get. I hate the fact that you lazy and you a bum, and it's unfortunate that you spend more time trying to figure out what's wrong with other people instead of fixing your own situation, and you too busy looking out the window instead of looking in the mirror pointing a finger at somebody. I hate that for you. I hate the fact that your baby mama is going to be calling me for a coaching call and paying me good money that you gave her in child support court to try to figure out how she can divest herself from you and try to become a part of the bag chasers while ultimately trying to be my baby mama. And I'm not going to let her. I'm not going to let her finesse me like that because I would never take care of your children. I would never take care of your children. I hate that for her. I hate that for you. I hate that for your children that they're looking at me as a father. And one day they're going to download my podcast. They're going to subscribe to me and you're going to be mad at it because you're going to be listening to them, but it ain't going to be nothing you can do because they're going to be bigger than you. If you try to put your hands on their phone, they're going to beat your tail. I hate that for you. Tell your kids I said what up because I'm going to be their de facto father on the internet. One day your children are going to grow up and subscribe to my channel and I'm going to teach them how to be better than their father. I hate that for you. Anything else? Anything else? Shout out to my kids. Them my kids. Those are my children. You had them, but they mine. They're my kids. And I might advocate for them to change their name to Daniels. Those is Daniels is now. Danielites. Those are those is Daniels. Those is Daniels. To make your kids. What's your last name? What's your last name? Johnson? Those is Danielites, boy. They're gonna take on my spirit. They're gonna pray against you, and they're gonna take on my spirit, and they're gonna be successful after they get out of jail. Boy. Anyways, make sure. Why y'all want to do this? Listen, I told you the ground rules before we started this show. You decided that you wanted to crash out and still wanted me to go there. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Just leave me alone. And we won't have this conversation. Zach says black people don't own nothing. Where they gonna go? Tell them to boycott their rent. Ooh. Rush King 19 says people do realize no matter what, they will still be supporting these big companies. Even small businesses buy products from these companies to sell. Hey, Anton, hope you weren't overwhelmed with the name change I suggested. Just giving a true compliment since you will get there sooner than you think. No, man, I'm rocking with it. I love you. The way you say my name is the way I do too in the USA. Shout out to you, Javier. AD, some of them shouting for people to take all of their money out of their bank account. Don't got no banks. What's next? Are they going to jump on a Zoom call and sing Negro spirituals? Yes, they are. Slimmy said it last night. Monkey see, monkey do. That's a fact. Anton, I sent the email this morning of women stocking up on lipstick at Target yesterday. They came equipped with a detachable baby. Oh my God. When they told me y'all got detachable baby hair, I was all the way done. They weren't doing any shopping today anyway. They got rent due. Oh yeah, tomorrow was the 1st. You better pay your rent before anybody decide that they want to boycott. Make sure you pay me my rent. Eric Wolf Harris says we should boycott water. Why we paying? God made water. Like Carrie said, this hurts your head. I'm so petty if these retailers, if I'm these retailers, I'm doing a 20% discount so all of these people can miss out, says Manuel AG. They think Al Sharpton started it, but it was really Al Bundy. Brinston, facts. No excuse, Rocky, a lifestyle Rocky Cage says, what up, AD? It's funny how blacks boycott something that never benefits them, like DEI. They don't boycott because they believe in something. They boycott. They believe in something. They boycott because other sheep is doing it. DEI didn't even benefit black people, dummies. My daughter got upset with me because I'm not falling for the okie doke and I'm not a sheeple. Stand tall, Elizabeth. Divine Robertson says, well, at least they're not looting and burning down businesses like they did in 2020 yet. KB the Hybrid says these people are using white-owned platforms to boycott, then turn around and use their EBT benefits tomorrow because it's the first of the month. Black folks always think everything is about them. They literally walk around believing that they're more important in the world to the world than they really are. Shout out to Ashley Patterson. Beautiful Ashley Patterson says, good morning, Fave. Good morning, my Ashley. Says Jose 4 and 6. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. I was called a house N-word because I still shop at Target. I'm not boycotting and following nobody. Have a great weekend. You have a better weekend, my love. Ricky H. Town says tomorrow is the first day, about to get all of that money back anyway. Facts. Ray Vaughn says, I just laughed so hard, Anton, when you said you throw your windows out of the window if it wouldn't hurt nobody. I throw my computer out of the window. Last blackout I remember was on the Eastern Seaboard, and how bad that was for 3 days. These ninjas are amazing, said Chantel. Getting ready to go get some random people some McDonald's. I'm loving it, says Quincy Walker. Dwight Williams, I appreciate you for the one ball. Thank you for supporting the platform. Neighborhood 9. Oh, talk about it, Aaron. Crazy. They know you will be back. This protest is pointless, says Armani. Eric Wolf Harris says Room 9 culture. Good, Mr. AD. I share your sentiment, says Crimson. Zach says, so they're going to stop paying for stuff that they need with the money that they don't have anyways. I thought conservative burning stuff they already bought and protest was dumb until I got wind of how this economic blackout would work, says Just Christian. Martin Muhammad says, AD, this can't be real. This is a cartoon. Wow. Ray Vaughn said, I laughed so hard, Anton, when you said you throw your computer out the window if it wouldn't hurt somebody. Man, shout out to Dwight Williams again. Wesley Turner says, never get involved in any form of public outrage. Rahi says, what's up, Anton? I can't believe the news is really covering this blackout. Trump is literally ending the war. Is way more important. We about to get into that right now. Flo Rida says, they were not protesting when the stores were selling DEI products to tuck the child's genitalia. The devil is busy. Shout out to Chef 673 said, this is wild. February 28, 24-hour economic blackout, March 7th through the 14th. Amazon blackout, March 21st through the 28th. Nestle, Walmart, and General Mills. It's crazy, Chef. And it wasn't even started by them. Nahum says English is the official language. I seen Trump did that. High five, says Chris Cunningham. Ivy League says, man, why y'all got AD crashing out? I'm not crashing out. I'm in. Mark Muhammad says, y'all stooges that set my brother up. Y'all asked for the spanking and the smoke, and now you gonna get it. It's one of AD's gifts. Y'all think that that's a gift for me to do that? Jesus, Lord. Lord, give me more gifts than the gift of going off on people. The sword of truth. I hate that y'all got Anton started. The Danielites, my kids. Going scorched earth is a necessary evil, says Trey D. Dang, I can't be hyped for GTA 6. No. AD, your roast sessions are too classic. Maybe I should do a compilation of all of my roast sessions. Chef 673 says, according to their website, they are a non-affiliated grassroots foundation. But to me, reading the founder and their about, it seems a lot of communists to me. It's the same thing that happened with Black Lives Matters. When everybody jumped on board with that, it's so dumb. If they really want to boycott, go live off the grid, says DJ Ace. Facts. Limitless Mind says, a lot of people got paid today. Ain't nobody stopping folks from spending no money. Yeah, they not. Please respect Dr. Umar's School of Wizardry, says Chip. High Tolerance says, homie, better listen. You trying to tell me I ain't ish? I tell your mama you ain't ish. Skinny Swag 84 says, I'm about to go to Target. Y'all want something? Lucid Experience says, a white person started this. Just because of that, I'm going to Target and at McDonald's and ordering stuff today at Amazon just to get on their nerves. Tammy Ramsey says, Anton, there is a white man that I saw on Instagram who said he is the head on this. Yeah, I just played him. It isn't for DEI from what he said. It's to create a financial shock. A super chat wouldn't let me put this on Instagrams in so you could see this. Yeah, I know all about it. Now, Montgomery, see, I had to do a little bit of research. Montgomery boycott lasted 381 days, and they think one day is going to do something. That was AD East Side of Detroit popping out. You all missed what the reporter said. Black folk have 1.7 trillion spending power. That makes my blood boil, throw ish against the wall. Ray Vaughn says boycotting, but they'll be sad when the stores close in the neighborhood. They'll sigh, make it make sense. Well, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Let the sheep do what the sheep do. We're not going to fight them. Let them. This is what y'all got to understand. Y'all got to let them eat themselves. You can't keep trying to convince people to do something that's not best for them. Shout out to Mark says, while they protest, I'm picking up some more Tesla shares to get on that AI play. Yeah, you get on that grok. Look, go suck Trump's. Okay, Gino 420, weed smoker, black lips having, no kid, your kids don't like you. I still wear baggy jeans and shirts and black Air Force Ones and my white tee looking. Boy, if you don't shut your, and then he gonna, hey, listen, you know, let me tell you how dumb some of these people are. They pay me to insult me. They pay me. Let me tell you something, bro. I want to show you something real quick. I want to hurt you real quick. Let me hurt your feelings. This morning, I sent Rita $5,000 to go shopping. Real talk. I sent Rita $5,000 to go shopping. Seriously. So I sent her $5,000 to go shopping at the top. Said, girl, go shopping on this day. Go to all of the stores, have a good time, and go shopping. Then we're going to move over into Ukraine shortly. Then, as I sent her $5K to go and spend some money on this day, because I want to do my part in making sure that everybody do what they're supposed to do and all of that stuff, right? Let me see if I can pull something else. I was looking and I said, what am I doing? What do I have going on? Because as I was going through the account, I said, that number can't be right, is it? I said that number can't be right. No way that number could be right. They say, yep, it's right, Anton. Don't deny it. It is what it is. Hold on. I want to show you something real quick. I'm looking for it because I'm trying to make sure that I find it right. Here it is. So this is the month of February, right? Now you got to keep in mind, February 2025. See it? February 2025. See it right there at the top right here? And I said, did we really spend that much money this month? See that? February 2025. We spent $214,000 in February 2025. I said, no way. No way that I'm spending on average $214,000 a month. Then I got curious and I said, well, what is January? Since that was February and we don't even have that together yet. And in January, I spent $196,000. $196,000. Then I got really curious and I said, well, what was December like? December was crazy. 2024 December. 2024 December, I spent $298,000 in December. $298,000. $298,000 in December. Who you talking to? Don't worry, I'm gonna cut this part out of the stream. But this is what I'm trying to ask you a question for. Who you talking to? Fam, you need to argue with somebody that's in your tax bracket. I'm not it. You have to argue with somebody that's in your tax bracket. Bro, I spend in a month what you make in 5 years. It takes you 5 years to make what I spend in a month. When I'm talking to you, when I'm trying to give you motivation to think differently, I'm trying to change your mindset. I'm trying to change your mindset, bro. Who are you talking to? Nigga, I'm not you. You don't know nobody like me in real life. You don't have access to anybody that has these type of resources in real life. Remember your place in life. And I'm not saying that to stunt. I'm saying that because I really want you to understand. Remember who you are. I don't play. This ain't called the Millionaire Morning Show because I'm aspiring to be. I am a DECA. That means 10 or more. Anyways, let's continue on with the show. Now we got to get to Ukraine. All right? Remember who you are. And hide this part of the stream from your girlfriend because she's going to hate you for that. What do you suggest people? All right, I'm going to come back to the super chat shortly. We got to continue on with the show. All right, Zelenskyy. All right. So let's get into international politics. Zelenskyy, I hate having to do this. I hate when I have to do that because I told people that I would, but I hate having to do that to y'all sometimes just to remind you, I'm not you. I'm not trying to figure it out. I'm trying to help you figure it out. Help me help you figure it out. All right? Y'all want to get back to the show? All right, so let's talk about Zelenskyy. Now, Zelenskyy, all right? Zelenskyy is signing a mineral rights deal today. Check it out.
So awaiting a high-stakes meeting in Washington today. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is set to sit down with President Trump to sign a critical minerals deal. It's the first time they'll face each other since a string of comments by Trump calling Zelenskyy a dictator and blaming him for the war that Vladimir Putin started. As you heard a moment ago, the president claimed not to recall some of those comments. He also touted his relationship with the Ukrainian leader.
We will work with him. I think the president and I actually have had a very good relationship, but on the NATO, it's just not, that's not going to happen.
And we have team coverage for you this morning. Our Natalie Brand is at the White House, and Imtiaz Tayeb is following the latest from Ukraine. But let's begin with Natalie. Natalie, what can we expect from the meeting today?
Michael, good morning. Well, it's notable that this meeting comes after last week's kind of escalating public feud that we saw between President Trump and President Zelenskyy. As you heard, President Trump now trying to downplay that and looking forward to this meeting. Ultimately, we know that the Trump administration wants a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine, a ceasefire to stop Russia's fighting in Ukraine, and also, of course, wants access to Ukraine's rare earth minerals. From what we understand, this agreement could pave the way for a future partnership or joint stake in future proceeds from Ukraine's valuable assets when it comes to minerals, oil, and gas. For its part, Ukraine, of course, wants security guarantees and wants to ensure continued, military support and assistance from the United States to deter against Russian aggression moving forward. Security guarantees, of course, a huge point that President Zelenskyy will be pushing.
Now, Natalie, why has President...
So let me summarize this for the people in the back so that y'all better understand exactly what's going on. we want our money back, and we're going to stop the war, and we're going to take control of what happens over in your country, and we want credit for stopping the war. This is what you call bending the knee. Trump is over here stopping wars worldwide from people being killed all across the country. Millions of people have been killed. Millions with an M. Not thousands, not hundreds. Millions of people have been killed in this war that, in my opinion, our previous administration co-signed on. Our previous administration basically enabled, and then they said, let me tell you how backwards this is. Kamala Harris and Biden basically was saying, Ukraine needs to defend itself. Instead of them saying, you know what, we need to stop the war so that millions of people won't die, and we won't basically put billions of dollars in the hands of God knows who, and we're funding this proxy war so that we can continue to get rich. What they basically said is, we're going to go ahead and allow for there to be basically a mass genocide. We're going to put all of y'all people on the front line, and we're going to give y'all the weapons to do so, and we're going to make sure that we get richer as a result of it. There's wars being stopped between Russia and Ukraine. Now, you're going to pay us for it, and we're going to come and get the minerals from under your rare earth minerals. We're going to mine all of that out. We're going to send our people over there, and we're going to get that mineral money over there, because you thought that you was just going to get away with it from Biden. But nah, Trump not having that. Trump is a businessman first. So first we got to stop killing people, and then we need to come and get our money back. So we're going to get triple for our efforts. But it's wars being stopped, and y'all talking about boycotting Target. Really? Really?
President Trump in pushing this deal for the U.S.?
Yeah, well, when you talk about rare earth minerals, we're talking about things like lithium, titanium. These are critical assets for defense, national security, used in everything from fighter jets to missiles, military technology, also consumer electronics, of course, and things like electric vehicles and wind turbines. Now, China dominates the market when it comes to rare earth mineral production, and it's estimated that China holds around 90% of processing on rare earth minerals. The United States has been trying to look for ways to bolster its own supply chain on this front, going back to the Biden administration. I talked to an expert from the Center for Strategic and International Studies. She's an expert on critical mineral security about the U.S. strategy. Take a listen.
The big challenge is that we only have about 1.5% of the world's rare earths. So we source a lot of them from abroad. We have part equity in a rare earth recovery project in South Africa. But under Trump, we've obviously seen him talk about rare earths in the context of Greenland and Ukraine. But a lot of it is, again, it's a reducing the reliance on China narrative.
And Gracelyn Bascarin there, she also notes that mineral diplomacy takes a long time. It can take around 18 years to map and start up a mining operation. So we are talking kind of about a long-term strategy here. And of course, everything, Michael, is contingent first on a peace deal.
Sure thing. Natalie Brand at the White House. Thank you. And for more on today's meeting between Presidents Trump and Zelenskyy, I want to bring in CBS News foreign correspondent Imtiaz Tyab. He's following developments for us from Kyiv. Now, Imtiaz, I want to hear about how the people in Ukraine are reacting to this meeting between the two leaders.
Michael, good morning to you. Well, there is a real sense of apprehension here. Of course, we've had the last few weeks of real sparring between President Trump and President Zelenskyy, but those comments from President Trump where he really walked back his claim, false claim, that President Zelenskyy was a dictator, at least is a sliver of hope. But as we've been saying, many Ukrainians, and indeed President Zelenskyy, wants President Donald Trump to give Ukraine security guarantees. But from what we know, that's very unlikely to happen.
Now, Imtiaz, we know what the U.S. is.
Why should we protect y'all from yourselves? You know, when I first seen this war pop off 3 years ago, because I was covering it here on the Millionaire Morning Show, and I was talking about it, And I really wanted to know what was happening. I didn't just want to know what was happening on the surface and the presentation layer and stuff, because that stuff dies out. It dies out like everything else. As long as you're quiet enough about it, or when people get desensitized to it and it's no longer the popular story, then people stop talking about it. And I started actually researching and looking at all of the different images and seeing what was happening. And it's 10 times worse than just people dying. And that's the part that people are missing. I know we focus on the financial aspect of things and we trying to figure out where the money comes from. And that ultimately is one of the reasons why we wanted to know what was happening with Biden and what was their involvement in it and how many people were actually running up a bag in USAID and all of this stuff, right? What is the agenda and why are we able to allocate monies towards things, and why didn't they stop sending money over to Ukraine, but they then tied it into the border deal that they wanted to do last year or in the end of 2023 when they let all of the migrants in and all of this stuff, right? And so I was trying to figure it out, and so I started to deep dive. And what I realized was that it's 10 times worse than what we present it to be. Because when they were over there and they got this invasion and they going back and forth, they don't talk about all of the women who are basically carrying babies from the opposition in both places, depending on which place is invaded at that particular time, especially now that Ukraine is over in Russia and Russia had took over parts of Ukraine. They didn't talk about all of the babies that's being carried from the women that was being raped. They didn't talk about how villages was then pillaged and absolutely men were hiding and they were sitting in the basements of some of these places. And I was reading this stuff. You know, y'all really should read, because reading is fundamental and it'll actually give you more insight. And I'm reading how men would be in the basements because they knew that the women was possibly had a better chance of surviving, but the men would be in the basements hiding, listening to they women get mauled by a bunch of dudes that didn't feel any need to do anything than to pleasure themselves with their women. How the women and the kids and the people that was left were starving. How they was using them for target practice in some of these places. Y'all boycotting Target. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I know this is some people that's mad because, you know, people always tell me, Anton, you don't have to show. I know I don't have to. I do it anyway. Hopefully to inspire you, and then also to help you to understand where we at in this hierarchy. Is some people that get mad and they say stuff like, I can't believe y'all still supporting this guy. They subscribe to say that and type of stuff. You don't stop no motion. Do you know that I've been doing this and showing my bank accounts and showing my spending habits and showing my stock portfolio and showing my deposits? Do you know that I've been doing this literally for like 5-6 years now? That I've been showing numbers? Y'all not stop. You don't stop no motion. What you think that? Oh my gosh. You welcome, Nicholas. Anton Daniels is a godsend. Thank you. Spitting fire today. I brought up these same talking points to my childhood friend in Cincinnati. The sixth poorest city. They are new. You know they gotta be new. Gotta be new. Everybody in the Patreon is already familiar with all of this. Sabrina, you know that. Sabrina is in the Patreon. The Bag Chasers in the Patreon. They know that. You're just not used to seeing it. You're not used to somebody stopping you in your tracks and showing you exactly what this looks like. Nobody stops anything over here. Nobody. We gonna do what we do. Tammy says, what do you suggest people do? I live in LA and everything here is too high. Move, but don't take the way that you vote with you. You need to move. LA is a cesspool and it's burned down and they have mudslides and they got druggies and y'all got a bad governor. And Kamala Harris is probably going to become governor of Los Angeles. I want to see what Los Angeles looks like after Kamala Harris become governor. And I know she's going to win. I think you should move. Honestly, you should really move. Love to see stars. Love to see stars. I love you. Thank you for holding me down. Amazing every time, says Vaughn LA. Shout out to Vaughn. Paying for a super chat to hate on you sounds like your enemies are your footstools. Don't God work in mysterious ways? Call out the black community in their BS. Black consumers don't even realize that they're being used. People should take us seriously. Why? I agree. A lot of us Americans got money to do who do helping around the world in different countries. Just King says, laughing my butt off. Unfiltered AD is the best. I can't wait until the masculine channel drop. It dropped next month. It drops next month. Can't leave any of my females around you, big bro. You got crazy. You got crazy motion. You motivate me to make me want to do better in life. I look up to you. Shout out to you. We gonna run it. We gonna get you there. I'm petitioning to have Fridays designated as the Railman Friday. That way AD can go off the rails and not feel bad. Greatest show on earth. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you. If y'all not subscribed, y'all need to make sure y'all subscribe and hit a like for the algorithm. Chef 673 says, I live in an area with many Ukrainians who are legal migrants in the country coming here from 2022 and having conversations with them. They hate Zelenskyy. They say he is a dictator with Nazis in his army. They want him out of office. Ooh, that's a different take. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Wesley Turner says, AD, I saw the knife fight. Yeah, I seen that on X. I saw the knife fight video that you mentioned a while ago. It was brutal, bloody, and one of them died alone among rubble. War is no joke. Watkins Family Value says these people should have taken inventory of what they want to buy, find the total, and put that money into a savings account. They will then see just how stupid their own spending is. Chef says, oh, it's worse. Listen to Jeffrey Sachs talk to the UN Parliament several days ago. That he lays it all out in detail, naming names, giving context. His firsthand knowledge and involvement in the case since the beginning. Check it out. I'm going to check it out. Send it to me. Email it to me. You inspire us, Mr. Anton. I love you too, Dolores. I love my Dolores too. I love my D-Lo. Shout out to D-Lo in the building. Anyways, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's talk about Mexico. So Mexico is extraditing 29 cartel leaders to us. In addition to that, they got cartel leaders that stand in trial here in the United States of America also. Why do y'all think that happens? Why do y'all think that that's happening here in the United States of America? Why now being one of the biggest participants in what we got going on inside of the United States of America? Why do y'all think that that's happening? I'll tell you exactly why it's happening. Before I do so, check this out.
Happening today, a once powerful Mexican drug lord convicted of torturing and killing a U.S. DEA agent in 1985 is not going to face a judge today.
Yeah, that notorious murderer made headlines globally and even was featured in the Netflix show Narcos. Eyewitness News reporter Lindsay Tuckman joins us live outside the federal courthouse in downtown Brooklyn with more. Lindsay.
Yeah, Pedro, Charlene, that once powerful drug lord is expected to be arraigned here in a few hours from now in the very same courthouse, you'll recall, that tried the other infamous cartel leader, El Chapo. Well, this extradition may even be seen as a bigger coup for the U.S. government, given the crimes that were committed. Let's get into it a little bit. Rafael Caro Quintero arrived in New York yesterday after being extradited by Mexico. He was convicted in the 1985 torture and murder of U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration agent Enrique Kiki Camarena, whose story was dramatized on the Netflix show Narcos. Now, Quintero was released from a Mexican prison in 2013, but in 2018 was added to the FBI's most wanted list for being involved with the highly dangerous Sinaloa drug cartel. He was arrested in Mexico again in 2022, but his extradition now comes amidst the Trump administration's push to curb Mexico's cartel activity, and less than a week before the U.S. is set to impose 25% tariffs on the country. Now, 28 others were also
So, did you hear that? They're sending back Mexican drug cartel leaders less than a few days before Trump's 25% tariffs are set to be imposed on the country. So this is the thing that I'm trying to understand. I want y'all to also help me to understand this again. Because remember when Trump was saying that tariffs was coming to the United States or coming to Mexico and going to Canada, and y'all was sitting there saying, oh my God, the cost of avocados is going to go up. Oh my God, we need Mexican tequila. Oh my God, we need Mexican women. We need Mexican tacos. We need all of this type of stuff. I can't believe it. Why do you think that Mexico is now sending over all of the cartel leaders and they're extraditing them here to the United States of America? Oh, you think that it's happenstance? They just woke up. It's like, you know what? After all of these years, before some of y'all was even born, we're going to go ahead and extradite and send these people over to the United States of America in order to be prosecuted. So they just so happen, just happenstance, to just want to do it.
To a Fox News alert today, 2 of the 29 cartel members who were just extradited to the U.S. from Mexico, including one accused of killing a DEA agent back in 1985, will appear in a New York court today.
Chanley Painter is here with all the details for us. Chanley?
Hey, good morning. So at least 2 of those defendants will be arraigned today in Brooklyn federal court, according to Reuters, including a drug lord who is alleged to have been among those responsible for the murder of a U.S. DEA agent, Enrique Kiki Camara, in 1985. This comes as Mexico on Thursday handed over 29 high-profile drug cartel members to the United States as part of an unprecedented extradition as the Trump administration ramps up pressure on drug trafficking organizations, illegal immigration, and fentanyl production. According to prosecutors, the prisoners face charges related to drug trafficking and in some cases homicide, among other crimes. And among them are members of 5 of the 6 Mexican organized crime groups designated earlier this month as foreign terrorist organizations by the Trump administration, guys.
Chanley, thank you very much. So keep in mind, we heard from the president yesterday that the tariffs are coming, and we're going to talk about that throughout the morning.
Was I muted? I'm sorry about that. But anyways, you're saying that, what I was saying was, you're telling me that now just so happen to be that they're running the vacuums out in the hallway. So I had muted for a second. I forgot to unmute. You're telling me that now we just so happen to get all of the organizations and the people that are running the organizations that were designated as terrorist organizations now that Trump was in office. One thing that I always like to come back to is, and I'm going to do this for the entire time that Trump is in office, what did Biden do again while he was in office? We're a little over 38 days. We're not even 40 days into the Trump administration. We're not even 40 days into the Trump administration. And nobody remembers what Biden did during his 4 years in office. He wasn't this visible. He didn't communicate to the people. We didn't see any transformational changes when it came to immigration. We started more wars. A lot of y'all actually was stealing from the federal government, and we propped up the job market, acting like we had really higher and a low unemployment rate, when in reality, we was just giving a bunch of people jobs inside of the federal government. We did nothing, especially on immigration, when Biden was in office. More done in 38 days than when Biden was in office for 4 years.
They're going to come down hard on Mexico to the tune of 25%. And when Mexico heard about it, he started negotiating with the president, Sheinbaum, down in Mexico. So what does she do? Just a couple of days before the tariffs are supposed to go into effect, she releases these. We extradite
into the United States, these 29 jailed cartel members, including somebody who is at the top of the most wanted list for 40 years. She also is pulling out all the stops. They say, this is Mexico's point of view, they've arrested more than 400 people since February, after she announced that they were going to send 10,000 troops to the northern border for them. They've seized 12 tons of narcotics, coke, meth, and 120 pounds of methamphetamines and fentanyl. It's all about trying to keep those tariffs from happening, but they're happening on Tuesday.
Yeah, Donald Trump's going to hold them accountable. He wants this to end. He wants them to protect the borders. He wants them to stop allowing individuals, especially cartel members, people bringing fentanyl over, trafficking children across the border.
But the cartel can't be happy. I mean, Mexico is a narco state. And now because of the president's pressure, their number one enterprise, which is getting the people across the border, people pay tens of thousands of dollars to get across the border. That has been totally disrupted. Now you have the Mexican president turning over the bosses because just because they're in jail doesn't mean they're not running the criminal enterprise from jail as well. And their tunnels are being sealed with concrete. I mean, it's pretty much all maximum pressure against the cartel brand.
All of that. So we have some of the most advanced technology in the world, and we're just now sealing all of their tunnels that they've been trafficking things over here inside of the United States of America, including people and Fenty. We're just now sealing their tunnels. We're just now sealing all of their tunnels. So we knew that the tunnels existed, but they stopped using the tunnels because it was easier for them to just walk over here across the border into the United States of America. And we're just now sealing all of their tunnels. Okay, I got you. Anyways, hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats, and we're going to continue over with the show. They mad at AD for showing his monthly spending and bank accounts. I don't say a word, but don't say a word when the rappers do it. I'm richer than your favorite rappers. Spaces says sometimes you got to pick up out and show ninjas. Seeing those numbers are motivation to us bag chasers. The Dusties will do as the Dusties do. No excuse lifestyle. Rocky Cage says, hey, AD, they'll talk about refusing to spend at Target and etc., but they still won't support Black-owned businesses, won't take them seriously. The next metropolis will be Ukraine. Good day, Mr. AD, says sister in the Chasers fam. I like the new name, Daniel Lights, replacing the Room 9 channel. Daniel Lights, a nation of masculine men. She might want to she might want to up her security after sending them back here. Well, that's her problem. That is her problem. That is not our problem here in the United States of America. Jared says, good morning, AD. Does government workers have to pay taxes? Might be a dumb question. Anyway, first super chat, by the way. Shout out to my first super chatters. I appreciate you. Yes, they get taxes taken out of their paychecks. However, they get paychecks from the taxpayers. So it's like a cycle, right? The cycle is this. Federal workers, okay, we go to work every day and then we get our paychecks, right? For example, I got a paycheck the other day for $25,000. It was something. It was a check for from something. It was $25,000, right? So my former organization that I retired from again. So I retired from a separate organization, but I just got another paycheck. So my part of the package that I negotiated was for them to pay me over a series of time. I'm not gonna say for how long, but for them to pay me over a series of time, and I claim zero on that. And so, man, am I giving y'all too much information? I claim zero on that. I don't care if y'all know where I worked at. I don't work there anymore at this point. I claim zero on all that. So part of it is, y'all can know at this point. It ain't no big deal. So that paycheck comes at the end of every single month, right? And the pay that I negotiated, it's a $25,000 paycheck every single month. Every single month, it's a $25,000 paycheck. I actually cover up the company, but you can see that it was direct deposited. I don't lie. I tell all of the things and I show my receipts. So if you see right there, See, it says direct deposit. I don't know if it's too blurry for y'all. See, it say direct deposit, February 25th, and then the next direct deposit after February 25th with the withdrawal, and then it's a direct deposit. So that's the direct deposit. After a paycheck of $25,000, my take home is $17,600. Okay, so I still get paychecks every single month at the end of the month from this organization that I used to work at. All right, and at the end of every single month, it's about $17,000. Now I get very aggravated with it. Okay, I get very, very aggravated with the amount of money that come out of that paycheck, because I'm basically paying about $8,000 from that organization, even though I don't work there anymore. Every single month, I still get a paycheck from them. I still get a direct deposit from them every single month, because that's a part of the package that I negotiated. And in order for me not to stay, that's just a part of it, right? But I pay $8,000 every single month in taxes when I get that paycheck at the end of the month. Okay. Now that goes over to the federal government, which bothers me, because now I want to know what is all of my money going towards, because I'm not getting nothing from it, right? I'm not getting, and this is why I tell bag chasers, and I say, listen, don't let people shame you on the type of money that you make. Oh man, AD is rich. Why is he, why did he still work a regular job? Because they paid me egregious amounts of money. And I got big bonuses and big equity. But that money goes over to the federal government. So $8,000 go over to the federal government just out of that check alone, right? And then after that, they get to determine how they want to distribute it. So now they take my money and they pay Jasmine Crockett and they pay Kamala Harris. They paid her vice president's salary, and you pay Biden and you pay AOC and Bernie Sanders. He continues to get his paycheck. And then it gets distributed all to the federal workers. Now, the federal workers take our money, sleep on it, go out of town, don't send emails over to Elon Musk and bullet points, send our money over to Egypt and Ukraine and all of this stuff. And then they have to pay taxes out of their money that then goes back into the pool for them to continue to pay more federal workers. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's literally a Ponzi scheme. We all paying taxes, but none of us is actually being mindful or asking questions as to where our money is going. But some of us are paying taxes out of the money that everybody paid taxes from. So stupid, in my opinion. Anyways, let's move over to Illinois, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk about the Illinois governor. Somebody said, are you saying that the rich pay taxes? We pay the majority of the taxes. That's a fact. We pay the majority of the taxes. That's why I'm so gung-ho about, holding the federal government accountable for the things that we pay our taxes on. If you guys are not disgusted, if you don't get bothered at the fact that you have to pay these crazy amount of taxes every single month, every single week, every bi-weekly or whatever, if that doesn't bother you, then that means that you're not making enough money because you're not paying enough taxes. If it doesn't bother you, because then people say, well, why do you care? Because and then they'll say this, you know what the worst part about it is? They'll say, well, what do you care? Because it's costing me money and I'm the person that's paying your salary. That's why we care. That's why it's meaningful to us, because I want to know where my money is going. And I have a right to know where my money is going. Let's get into J.B. Pritzker, because now he's leading a crusade against Trump and Doge for finding out where our money is.
I want to encourage Pennsylvanians to speak up, to use their voices, to do it constructively, to not retreat. This is a moment to make your voices heard.
Some extreme members of the Michigan legislature are asking the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn marriage equality. Here's my response to that. Hell no.
You know who that is? Y'all want to know who this is? This is the current Michigan governor, Gretchen Whitmer. Heavy Kamala Harris supporter. She was on, they think that Gretchen is up next. She's one of the people that they think can be a star in the Democratic Party. Gretchen Whitmer, right? She's one of the first people that say, I'm standing with the Chicago governor, J.B. Pritzker and Kathy Hochul. Horrible governor, absolutely horrible governor. And you know the worst part about it is because she was on the one where Kamala Harris actually did the thing with, and I don't even like to talk negative about my legislators in Michigan, but we gonna go there today. She was on the broadcast. Remember when Kamala Harris did the thing with Oprah? They did the Oprah production where they were all sitting around and they were acting like it was a bunch of simps saying, how can I help my wife? And then Oprah or Kamala Harris say, go with her to the polls and make sure that she votes for me, Kamala Harris. And then everybody, oh. Gretchen Whitmer was at that event. She was a heavy supporter when Kamala Harris was acting like she had a big turnout at an airport hangar and she wasn't even really in Detroit. Gretchen Whitmer was at that event. And we want so bad to be down with people that's not even best for us. They then went and got her some Cartiers. They call them buffs with the wood on them. They got her some Cardis and they say, oh my God, boss up, boss up. Horrible governor.
Earn marriage equality. Here's my response to that. Hell no.
I'm here to say New York hasn't labored under a king in over 250 years. And we sure as hell are not going to start now.
My oath is to the Constitution of our state and of our country. We don't have kings in America, and I don't intend to bend the knee to one. Tyranny requires your fear and your silence and your compliance. Democracy requires your courage.
They are right now and will continue to be some of the.
And we're going to review this. We like to review things from multiple different networks, including the ones that are dying like MSNBC, but we'll get there.
Most essential and trusted voices of dissent and opposition in this brand new era. Governors, Democratic governors in state houses all across the country. It'll be up to them largely and others to continue to give voice to the American people who see something profoundly wrong with what is happening, not just in these first few weeks, but most likely over the next 4 years. It's a privilege to bring in Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois. Thank you so much for being here.
Let's put him on a big screen, y'all.
Hi, Nicole.
We played a whole bunch of your State of the State address. I want to play one more piece of sound before we jump into this.
If you think I'm overreacting and sounding the alarm too soon, consider this. It took the Nazis 1 month, 3 weeks, 2 days, 8 hours, and 40 minutes to dismantle a constitutional republic. And all I'm saying is that when the 5-alarm fire starts to burn, every good person better be ready to man a post with a bucket of water if you want to stop it from raging out of control.
Yours is an assessment I've heard from former senior national security officials, but only privately. And you're the only one to say it publicly. Say more about your decision to do that.
Well, I should start by saying that my family escaped the pogroms in Ukraine in the 1880s. And it was when the Russians were coming to kill Jews. And this country, the United States, provided us with the security, safety, opportunity to, well, just to live. And of course, I should point out that it was a public school that gave my great-grandfather an education, and a public service, a public health agency that gave them a place to live. And so I am very grateful to be an American and believe very much in protecting all the rights of the American people. I also built a Holocaust museum with Holocaust survivors here. And I can tell you that in 1933 and 1934, the German Constitutional Republic.
Isn't it funny that they'll build something with American taxpayer dollars, but then take credit for actually doing it? They'll use our money to further their agenda and then say, and this is what I did inside of my state.
Republic was converted into a dictatorship in a very short period of time.
And anybody who walks through a Holocaust museum and sees the chronology can see that when rights get taken away, when the services to people are diminished, when all of a sudden we're favoring one group of people over another, that's a danger that we ought to all pay attention to. I'm seeing that in this country right now, and I needed to speak up. I needed people to hear that, and I think that we're seeing gradually an understanding that we've got to speak up. People need to show up and speak out.
When they have nothing else to grasp at, when there's no more straws to pull, when you don't have anything to stand on when it comes to what Democrats are advocating for the American people. Everything that they've done has fallen flat. They've advocated against or advocated for using your babies as a deletion method in a form of contraception. They advocated for boys using girls' bathrooms and men playing in women's sports. That didn't work. They tried to leverage the black community and tell black men that they would forgive your weed charges in federal court and give you a woman as the president of the United States of America. That didn't work. It didn't matter. They tried to use feminism to try to get y'all to the polls and to break up y'all families. That didn't work. And when all else failed, when everything started going left, they decided to pull out the big guns. They brought out Obama. Yes. And Michelle. Yes, and Michelle. And let me tell you something. Michelle, she doesn't play. She doesn't play. They pulled out the big guns. When all else failed, label your enemy the enemy and compare him to some of the most egregious people in history. All Democrats are doing are name calling. Let me tell you something. They took all of y'all money. They gave it to people that wasn't even supposed to be here in this country. I seen lifelong Democrats switch over to being conservative. I seen people that were on the ground in Chicago. I do feel for y'all. All of the cities that are banding together, all of the states that are banding together, they are all of the places that are under duress the most as far as some of those cities. When you see what was happening in New York, when you see what was happening in Denver, when you see what was happening in Chicago with the migrant crisis, all of these sanctuary cities where the people were complaining, where they were basically cutting government services. Over in New York, they cut services to schools and they were overcrowded with children that wasn't even supposed to be in schools with your children that you pay taxes for. They cut services to police officers both in New York and over in Chicago, and then they told y'all that they was actually doing the will of the people. They gave billions and billions and billions of dollars while they cut sanitation over in New York City, and they took out ShotSpotter in some of the neighborhoods that needed it the most over in Chicago. And then they converted warehouses and overpaid staffing companies, hundreds of millions and billions of dollars just to shepherd these people, while some people got rich and we don't even know who the owners of these services companies are. Then they forced y'all and they bullied y'all and they said, if y'all don't take the jab, you can't even walk the streets. These are all of the things that the Democrats have done over the last 4 years. And y'all love them for it. And they have the nerve to compare Trump to Hitler? We seen who Hitler was. He just left office. We seen who the real dictator was. He just left office. And he pardoned his son on the way out. And he pardoned Dr. Fauci and all of the people that participated in this coup of the White House over the last 4 years. And they all got filthy rich. And they couldn't even communicate. They couldn't say 2 words. You know, yesterday we had a conversation and somebody said inside of the chat, they said, we were talking about Mayweather. Kamala Harris was supposed to be one of the smartest people in the Democratic Party, and she couldn't even communicate effectively. She couldn't say 3 words and 3 sentences without referring back to her collard greens. Biden couldn't even put 2 sentences together, and he looked like he was about to fall asleep. In the middle of he went to Africa, and he was dozing off in the middle of a meeting with African leaders. They were waiting on him to take a picture. What is that? What was that? The G70, G60 summit, and he got lost in the Amazon forest. And none of these people, Fatness right here, he ain't have nothing to say. Holko over there, she ain't have nothing to say. Newsom over there, he ain't have nothing to say. But he asking for $70 billion because of that fire that ravaged, or $40 to $70 billion because of the fire that ravaged. He came to Trump immediately, didn't he?
What is it like to be a Democratic leader in a moment where the people, the only people standing up for the rule of law in terms of elected officials and the Constitution and rights, basically equal rights, are Democratic leaders?
Yeah. You know, I'm concerned. People need to speak up now. It's not later. There needs to be a wake-up call. And I do see, you played some of the video and clips from other governors, but it's the people that they represent that are speaking out, showing up at town hall meetings that are going to make the biggest difference. Meanwhile, you need to see Democratic leadership on this subject. And by the way, Republican leadership, there are plenty of Republicans out there that do not agree with what's going on in Washington, D.C. Now, the elected representatives in Washington who are Republicans are apparently too afraid to say in public what they say in private. They know that Donald Trump is off in the wrong direction. They're just afraid. They're afraid to lose their elections. Democrats shouldn't be afraid. We've got to speak up right now.
Can Democrats protect?
He's not even saying anything. It's just a waste of time. He's not even saying anything. Don't worry about it. We'll come back to it. Let me read some of these super chats and then we're going to go on from there. Let's see what we got here. Always like to acknowledge the people. Chef 673 says, I think this may be a token gesture from the Mexican new leadership to stave off the tariffs for a while. My question is, will this continue in the future or when the tariffs will be taken away? No, I think that the tariffs is coming no matter what. For sure, the tariffs are coming. Absolutely, the tariffs are coming. You can prolong it and they can keep on giving gifts, but we definitely getting them tariffs. Did you hear the Illinois governor cousin is a big-time billionaire donor of the DNC and trans? Yeah, I know about it. I'm familiar with it. Hey, AD, I was wondering what companies are good for starters to invest in that I'll be able to create cash flows, part of the bag chasers, by the way. What do you mean the companies that you can invest in? You can invest in really good companies that pay a dividend. I think that the best way for you to receive cash flow is to get into real estate. And I break that down and start in part of the Patreon. Actually, this weekend, we got a live stream with Block Club, so I'm looking forward to that. So tap into the Patreon. I'm doing a live stream this weekend. We'll go over it, and I'll tell y'all exactly how I come up with my formulas for what I'm going to charge people when I rent out my properties to them. And I thought the little 1680 that they took from me last month was something. I would be punching in the air if I seen AK get took all at once. It's crazy, bro. It hurt my heart when I see it. Gretchen, more like the Grinch. I ain't gonna lie, AD, Michigan down bad if that's y'all governor. We figuring it out. I agree with AD 99% of the time, minus him not wearing pants during the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm always taking notes when AD speaks. Shout out to you. I thought Blagovic was bad until this joker stepped up into the plate. Ronner tried to bring in order, but couldn't stand against the demon machine. Illinois need a full cleanse. They do. Y'all do need a full cleanse. The Democratic governor failed to say that Hitler turned that constitutional republic into a socialist country. How is Trump Vance administration turning America a constitutional republic into a social? It's not. It's not. They not racist. They not about to stage it. It's so stupid. Don't worry about it. We'll get there. Anyways, make sure you hit a like for algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Stephen A. Smith pulled up on Fox News, and he had some things to say about the Democratic Party. Let me share that with y'all real quick. Stephen A. Smith. I think that Stephen A. Smith is really trying to get into, he's done really well with his platform on YouTube, but I think he's trying to be more like Shannon Sharp, but in a political space. I think that he wants a bigger bag. I think that he wants to do kind of like a Ryan Seacrest hosting multiple different shows, and he's trying to become a mogul. And I'm not mad at it. But one of the things that I am a little bit bothered about is Stephen A. Smith's takes on politics. I think that he really, really needs to do better. Again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Check out what Stephen A. Smith had to say about the Democratic.
Only Stephen A. Smith, my friend. Now looky here. You're now tied with Pothole Pete, AOC, Gretchen Whitmer, and only Gavin Newsom and the Maryland governor.
I told you. Who will be the Democratic nominee? What did I say? I said that Gavin Newsom was basically positioning himself to at some point run for president of the United States of America, and I absolutely believe that he's going to try to do so. Obviously, we got Shapiro, AOC, you got Kamala Harris over there. I think that all of those people, and you got Gretchen Whitmer, who is the Democratic governor of Michigan. All of these people are going to be vying for a seat to be the Democratic president of the United States of America. They probably going to try to go with Gavin Newsom, to be honest with you. And that's why he's getting all of the press. He's trying to be very, very visible. Hey, I'm going to help with homelessness. Let's do the clean sweep. Let's make sure that we get Marcel some good press. And then the wildfires happen and he started getting bad press again.
And Josh Shapiro have better odds than you do. You have a higher favorability than Pritzker, Andy Beshear, Kamala Harris, Michelle Obama, Raphael Warnock, John Fetterman, Mark Cuban. Okay, no ducking, no dodging, no bobbing and weaving. Are you thinking about running for president?
No, I am not. Number one, all right? I like my life. My life is very, very good, very fruitful. Politics is a cesspool. We've all seen that. We've seen what these politicians have gone through. We've seen what President Trump went through over these last several years. Who the hell would want to sign up for that? Now, obviously, being in the presidency is a very, very powerful and influential position. Leader of the free world. We get all of that. We look at the state of this country. It's an absolute mess. You understand? I have no business being ahead of Josh Shapiro, but this is the part. This is the part that I really, really want to get to show how pathetic of a state of affairs things are right now. I have no business being ahead of Josh Shapiro. I have no business being ahead of Wes Moore. I love both of those guys. I think those guys would be outstanding in their own right. I don't think that there's anybody else out on that list and beyond that has any legitimate case to make for themselves at this particular moment in time for the Democratic Party. I think any voice that has been national has been diluted because of the Trump romp. And I don't want to hear about a 1.5% victory in the election. The man won every swing state. He won about 50 counties, okay? He went up in the black vote, went up in the Latino vote, went up with young voters, okay?
Did Trump go up in the black vote? Somebody tell me inside of the chat. I don't know if that's true. I know he had more staunch, ardent supporters in the black community. Y'all say yes, 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 and men. Yes, and men. So what did men vote for in 2000? Okay, so let me see this. I got to look it up. Percentage of black men that voted for Trump in 2020. Center for Research. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's go back to Stephen A. Smith.
Nothing to say. He won the popular vote. He won the electoral college vote. I don't want to hear anything from the national voices, okay? All the national voices that was out there, and I'm including Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, in that mix, because he showed up on your show on this channel and debated Ron DeSantis. So he tried to be a national voice. No, I don't put any of them up there right now. And my last comment would be this. I think the fact that I am a candidate for the presidency of the United States of America, according to the polling for the Democratic Party, is the most clear-cut evidence of how pathetic of a state of affairs that exists within the Democratic Party today. I have no business being on that list whatsoever. I am not qualified, but it just shows how pathetic things are at this particular moment in time.
I got to go deeper in the paint. I'll use the sports analogy with you.
Sure.
Okay. If asked, if drafted, if begged, The answer under all circumstances is a firm no, you're not doing it. Yes or no?
At this moment in time, because I want my pockets to get significantly deeper.
No.
I'm answering the question. I'm answering the question right now. Right now, the answer would be no. 3 years from now, if my pockets are significantly deeper and the country is in a dire state of
you
not tomorrow,
sound like a
but 3
politician.
years from now, if the country is in a dire state of affairs.
That's a political answer.
I'm not.
That's a politician's answer.
Listen. I spent the first half hour of this show watching you and all your guests just fawning over the president.
Let me see something really quickly. Check this out. In Obama's first presidential campaign, 95% of black male voters and 96% of black women voters. Why did I keep doing that? 96% of black women voters for Obama's 2012 re-election, while the figure for black men slid to 87%. So we went from 95% to 87%. In 2016, when nominee Hillary Clinton, black men dropped further to 82% from 87%, while black women's support for Clinton remained high at 94%. So black women, y'all gonna be the 93, 94, 95, 96, 97%. Y'all gonna be in the upper 90th percentile, no matter what, for Democrats. So we already know how y'all gonna vote. Biden came close to matching that this year with 91% of black women. This is in 2020 that this came out. All right, November 4th, 2020. Few groups appear to have driven this shift towards President Donald Trump among men. Over half of black men, 52% who identified as ideologically conservative, cast their vote for president. Yeah, but and 1 in 3 black men living in the Midwest also voted for him. So we did turn up more for Trump. No, we went down because 77% of black men actually voted for Kamala Harris this time around. So what are y'all talking about? This is in 2020. Am I off here? If 77% of black men voted for Trump or voted for Biden this year, and 23% voted for Trump, where did I miss something? So actually, we came out more for Kamala Harris than we did for Trump in 2020. This is 2020. So I'm way off. How am I way off? How am I way off?
Could you let me get in a word here? I'm telling you, 3 years from now, as my pockets are deeper and I'm even more successful and my lifestyle is comfortable enough for me,
so the
if
door
the
is
American
open.
people call,
the door is open.
I would have to consider it. I'd have to consider it.
So the answer is you are leaving that. You're swung it wide open, as wide as you can. You just kicked it open, knocked it down on the same at this. Yes, it is true. Well, 3 years from now, my pockets, I have more money in my pocket. I might be open to it.
Campaigning is a nightmare, hugging, kissing babies, shaking hands with everybody, currying favor with politicians' daughters. I don't want that stuff. Now, if you told me I could get on a presidential debate, I could get on a stage for a presidential debate, I would love it. I would absolutely positively love it too. And I do believe
I would love to debate you.
I do believe that I would have. Well, listen, the fact of the matter is most people in the Republican Party even can't debate you. So don't get me started with everybody else. There's no shame in that. I'm just telling you, going up against them, I'd give them a run for their money.
All right. I admire our friendship, et cetera, et cetera. Look, I asked this of Don Jr. This is a serious question, too. I mean, you just heard the Nazi fascist Tim Walz. Oh, but I didn't mean Donald Trump He's full of crap. I throw the challenge flag. I don't believe him. And that's part of his problem, too. They lie, lie, lie. I'm sick of liars. But here's the thing. Nazi, fascist, racist. And then they become the party of men, champion the rights of men to play women's sports. They became the party that cares more about the rights of illegals over the safety of Americans. They become the party that is not outraged when the average American does not get paid what we get paid. They get paid what we used to get paid in our lives when we lived paycheck to paycheck. 66 grand a year. I started in broadcasting. I got paid nothing. Then I got paid 19 grand a year. But those people, and they see hundreds of billions of their hard-earned dollars going abroad for Green New Deal, DEI, transgender wokeism. That's the party. That is your party. You should leave them. You should tonight divorce them on my show.
Well, first of all, I wouldn't have to, because if I was the leader of the party, that nonsense wouldn't exist. That wokeism and identity politics and all of that stuff, it wouldn't exist. I'd eradicate that.
Still your party.
Let me be very, very clear about that. And excuse me, because, again, there are some liberal things that I agree with, and there's some conservative things that I agree with. Let me tell you, I think the argument that where I think the Democrats are really, really messing up when it comes to Donald Trump at this particular moment in time. Sean, I will openly confess, you know, Elon Musk is he's not born here, and they're making this argument. He's not an elected official. He hasn't been confirmed by the Senate and all this. I get, hold on, let me explain something. I get the discomfort. What they're missing is that you messed up things so badly over the last several years. Give the man a chance to see what he does. I'm looking at Donald Trump. I'm not comfortable with everything that I'm seeing. I'm not comfortable with everything that he's doing like you are. But the flip side to it is that I'm willing to see the results before I engage in condemnation. See, that's the problem. The partisanship, they're already showing it. And they're echoing exactly what they were doing during the campaign, which means they're not going to resonate. And they're going to ensure that the Republicans probably win the midterms and then get 4 more years come 2028, because the same song and dance with the same argument is not going to cut the mustard. They got to learn to do that. Dial it back. Judge the man on what he's doing right now. See what the results are before you engage in condemnation. They're not doing that. They're sounding like they're still on the campaign, which means they're coming across as tone deaf to voters like myself and various others. That's where they're messing up.
Stephen A. Smith want to be a Republican so bad, in my opinion. Ashley said he's an undercover Republican. No, I don't think he's undercover. I think that he wants to be a Republican, but he doesn't want to upset his core demographic of people that may or may not support him. I don't think that he wants to align with people like Jason Whitlock, who obviously is clearly a Republican. Right? I don't think that he wants to be labeled as a sellout. Stephen A. Smith, for all intents and purposes, which it is confusing to me because I see the grift that he's trying to have, right? He's trying to transition himself to be more than just sports. That's what Stephen A. Smith is trying to do. He's trying to diversify himself. He's trying to diversify his platforms. He's trying to get ahead of and also show his worth, his value, his weight to ESPN, which is a Disney-owned liberal media platform. He's trying to show his worth to that platform while at the same time transitioning into more money, more opportunity, more visibility, trying to get into that, right? But at the same time, he can't alienate the core demographic of people that rock with him, such as Black people. And so he may be a closet Republican in his beliefs, but he'll never stand on business, which I'm going to be honest with you. We can criticize him all you want, but Stephen A. Smith is about a bag. He don't care nothing about that. Stephen A. Smith is never going to completely say, hey, listen, I like Trump. I align with him, because he does not want to alienate his core demographic of people that really support him and really rock with him. Regardless of whether you like him or not, they still rock with him because he hasn't completely sold out. The way he's spinning it right now is, man, the Democrats are so bad. We got to hold them accountable because they're not really stepping up to the plate. They're not showing themselves to be worthy of our vote and all of this other type of stuff. Man, I could beat them if I really wanted to. He not gonna come out and say, yeah, man, Trump is really great. I like the job that he's doing. It really helps the United States of America. I stand for it. I don't run in the Victim Olympics. It more or less aligns with my brand as far as working hard and getting to it. And it doesn't really matter who get fired on that end. I'm running up a bag over here. He not gonna say that. He'll never, ever say it. The way he's going to frame it is, I can't believe y'all let Trump run over y'all. I can't believe that y'all continue. Man, where are the Democrats? We need better Democratic leadership. On the flip side, you'll have people like me, and I'll say, you know what? I'm never going to be a part of the Democratic plantation. And so he's going to play the middle of the road. He's going to play safe. He's going to say, I'm an independent. Listen, in my personal opinion, somebody saying they're independent basically means I don't want to pick a side, not because they're open to if this person is right or if this person has the best policies. You know what the policies are, and you know that the policies aren't going to change from party to party. There's never going to be a Democrat that comes in and embraces conservative views. There's never going to be a Republican that comes in and embraces liberal views. The closest thing you're going to get is a rhino, a Republican in name only, but they was already a liberal. They just running on a Republican platform because they know that they'll never get into office unless they designate themselves as that. But somebody today, independent used to truly mean that you cared about, you were more informed, you were more ingrained in what was going on in politics. You probably embraced Jill Stein or the Green Party or something like that. That's what independent used to be. Ross Perot, that type of framework. Independence used to truly be when it wasn't such a huge divide and a push far left and a push far right. Independents truly were independent. Independence today means I don't want to pick a side, but behind the scenes, I'm truly conservative. I don't want to pick a side, but behind the scenes, I'm truly liberal. Independents today are just chameleons. Now, I'm not saying that Jill Stein is an independent. I'm saying that they research more than just a Republican or Democratic Party. They'll be open to a Jill Stein. They'll be open to a RFK Jr. They'll be open to other people outside of the party. They're more familiar with other people in politics just outside of just the most visible Democrats or the most visible Republicans. Independents today, they don't have a backbone. You understand what I'm saying? They don't have a backbone. Now they just don't want to be canceled because they may align with a different party than the core demographic that support them. So if all of the liberals, if the majority of the liberals and the people that support you on your platform is liberal, but you don't want to say I'm Republican, you then say you independent because you don't understand why the Democrats can't get their lives together. If all of the Republicans in your core demographic is that, and you really closely align with this black woman because you a blackity black, but your core demographic in the environment that you exist in requires for you to cater to this demographic of people, you're going to say you independent because you don't want to have to pick a side. You don't want to answer that question. The easiest way to get out of picking a side is to say I'm independent. You can't say, well, I don't want to talk about that because people are going to automatically assume. Now, in content today, you have to give an answer. And listen, if you are a visible public figure, and even if you are a person that don't want to get into a conversation with people in real life, you say that you're independent in order to be able to avoid the question, because you can't say, well, I don't vote, because people are going to criticize you for that. You can't say, well, you know what I'm saying? You got to pick a side. So they pick independence. It's the easiest way to go. And that's not saying that a lot of people aren't truly independent. What I am saying is that Stephen A is an example of a person that's not independent. He's actually a Republican. He actually supports conservative views. He probably voted for Trump, but he doesn't want to say that to the people. So he's always going to say, I'm independent, because all of his friends and the Charlemagnes and all of those people, they are liberal, and he don't want to pick a side because he don't want to alienate anybody, which is smart for a person that's a visible public figure that make a lot of money. It's just the truth. It's real. It's the truth. Make sure to hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to go to the last part of the show. 392Q says, yo, Anton, how we doing, brother? I'm over here on Facebook being dusty, arguing with DEI hires about the boycott. Is it a way to compare stocks from yesterday and compare them to today and tomorrow to see if the boycott worked? The stocks don't have nothing to do with the boycott. Usually the movement in stocks for a major company happens when they do an earnings call and they compare it to yesteryear, right? When they do a comparative analysis, you evaluate Q1 of 2025 with Q1 of 2024. You use a comparative analysis and then you break down the circumstances, the environment, right? So for example, if you compare 2022 Q1 to 2021 Q1, you can say, well, the reason why sales is down or sales is up this year is because we were dealing with a pandemic. Or the reason why sales was down was because everybody was at home. And so we front loaded the sales. And so in 2022, not as many people are going to be subscribing to the platform. When Netflix exploded in 2020, right? When Peloton exploded in 2020 because everybody was at home. And then in 2021, I said, hey, y'all, don't buy Peloton. I know it's going up. I know GameStop is going up. What they'll do is they'll compare it against the previous year, right? They'll do a year-over-year comparison and they'll do a quarter-over-quarter comparison. And the reason that they do that is because they want to understand exactly what happened and why your sales are up or your sales is down. Never go day by day. Day by day doesn't mean anything because you don't really even have any sales data from the company. The company don't even report out unless they're reporting out quarterly, to make sure that they letting investors know what their sales targets are. Are they going to revise up? Are they going to revise down? And all of that stuff. So never go day by day. Shout out to 390Q. Freethinker513 says, Democrat Party is actively fighting against your right to 2A. When you can't fight back, you'll see real dictators vote red. What in the World TV says, when will Democrats realize that they need to be saved from themselves? Andre Farrar says, we need Stephen A to be the Speaker of the House or the press secretary. Nah, we good. Jeremiah Weinglass says, more black men voted for Trump in the second term than Trump's first term. More black men voted for Trump the second term than Trump's first term. I'm trying to understand the Biden term, the 2020 versus 2024. Kay Woolard says, just joined in on the live broadcast. I don't know if you spoke on it yet, but I don't participate in economic blackouts. Very beginning of the show, I spoke on it. When Trump referenced that stat that he's talking about amongst Republican candidates, Stephen A is going through cognitive dissonance. CEO first, he's definitely moving the goalpost for himself. Yeah, I just think that Stephen A is trying to get more visibility for what he got going on. So make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. This is a worker, a woman, a female worker that said that she's mad that she voted for Trump because I believe that she got fired. I believe she got fired from her job as a result of it. All right. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Oh, wait a minute. Let's make sure that we're not dusty out here. We don't want no ads popping up. All right. All right, let me go ahead and share that.
Thousands of federal probationary employees was likely unlawful. And now ordering the Office of Personnel Management to inform some of the affected agencies it had no authority to even make those cuts. One of those probationary employees, 24-year-old.
Now, of course, again, this is a liberal organization, or CNN. I tend to think that it's a liberal left-leaning organization. So take that into consideration. Let's see what she got to say.
Michigan native Riley Cooper was just let go by the U.S. Forest Service and shared her heartbreaking story with the Washington Post. You see, Riley has dreamed of becoming a mother. After a doctor told her that IVF could be her only hope of having children, she turned to Trump, who had promised on the campaign trail to fully cover the procedure. It ended up being the very reason she cast her ballot for President Trump this past.
So you were really a liberal, but you were looking for a handout or for Trump to then come in and save you and save your womb and save you so that he'll be able to pay for IVF. This is basically what they're saying. So a lot of y'all got to realize, and honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't even know. Shout out to Robert Dalton. I appreciate you. I'm not even sure that these people actually voted for Trump. I'm being honest with you. I'm not sure if these people actually voted for Trump. I don't believe hardly anybody. And even with this story, what they're basically telling you is that she voted for Trump. I think she lying too, Christopher Chapman. She's saying that she voted for Trump because she was looking to get her IVF treatments paid for so that was the best chance for her to have a kid. So you don't really align with none of the Republican values. You don't align with conservative values. You was looking to get a hand up and a handout, and that's why you say you voted for Trump. I honestly don't believe it. I think it's cap. But for the sake of conversation, let's go with it because CNN is really hunting for conservatives that got laid off from the federal government that voted for Trump, and now they're regretting it. So let's see what she got to say.
Past November. Riley Cooper joins me now.
No,
Riley, welcome. Thank you.
Nope. I judge people just from the outset. From the very beginning, I judge people from the outset. I don't believe it, but let's get into it.
Thank you for sharing your story. And I wonder, what was it like for you when you got the news that you were being let go?
It was really hard. I was on the phone with my best friend, Kaylee, at the time, and we were just discussing her life and how things were going. And I looked at my phone and I had gotten a text from our union rep, and he told me that I was going to be fired the next day. And I told her, I have to go. I'm getting fired tomorrow. And my heart just sank.
I'm so sorry this is happening, and the frustration you must be feeling, and perhaps anxiety about what's next. And of course, we're hearing a lot about following the.
How did CNN find her? What was the connection? Was she on TikTok and a producer found her, and then they came through and said, hey, listen, CNN, we need to get in touch with this woman and do an interview? How did they find her?
Campaign in the elections about the mandate that people wanted to see a streamlined government, that they want to be able to right size it in some way and rid of waste and fraud. That was not the motivating reason you were voting for President Trump. Does that impact the way you see any of this?
Yeah, it's hard from my perspective to approach the current administration with hope. I've been dealing with infertility now for about a year. I've had multiple surgeries in my life. So, going into the voting booth, the main thing on my mind was the same thing I'd been thinking about for the past 11 months. And it was, I want to be a mom. And women who have gone through that experience, that heartbreaking feeling of wanting something that you might never have, they understand how much of your time is taken up with those thoughts.
Sound like Trump did you a solid. Trump did you a blessing. If you find a way to wind up paying for it and make sure that your husband got really good insurance, and contact the insurance company to see if they'll pay for your treatment. Because I'm assuming that the fact that you want to get pregnant and you're trying to get pregnant is that you're actually married. We're going to assume for the sake of conversation that she's married. I haven't heard her mention any husband in this conversation. I heard her talking about her best friend. Then she said she needed to leave. I don't hear any, listen, I believe that either this person is a raging liberal that's pretending to be conservative, or they're a paid actor. First of all, I never heard Trump say anything about covering IVF treatments. Maybe he did. Maybe that just went over my head because that's not an issue that's meaningful to me. I've never heard of Trump say that he was ever going to cover all IVF treatments. Ever. I don't hear any mention of a husband. Maybe she will, and we'll come back and we'll correct that if she does, but we're going to get through the rest of this. All of this seems weird. Every part of her story seems weird. So she was with her homegirl, but she's trying to get pregnant. And so the first thing that she did, come on. Okay. So let's just hear the rest of it. I want to hear the whole thing and we're going to go from there.
And how overwhelming and lonely it can feel. So as someone who is more of a swing voter, you know, sometimes that's what it comes down to, is those single issues. Because when you
What did I just say in the last segment?
step into the voting booth, you know, you're thinking of what's important to you and like the issues that are resonating with you in that moment. And for me in that moment, like it took me a while, and I made a decision that looking back, I'm not proud of, but it's the reality of my situation now.
Riley, do you now regret the way you voted for Trump?
I do feel regret, and I've had a
So you feel regret because your department was affected. You were a probationary employee. Your department was affected for government fraud, waste, and abuse, and we can do without you. Because just because you wanted to work for the U.S. Forestry doesn't mean that you're an essential employee. I got it.
a lot of tumultuous thoughts about that day in the election booth.
Cap.
You know, when you're voting on something that affects you so personally, you know, it's really easy to get tunnel vision, especially in a voting booth when you're staring at, you have two options, right? I mean, it's not like you're given an endless amount of options to achieve your goals. And so afterwards, when I thought maybe this is my chance, you know, I also had to come to terms with the fact that I was likely going to be a part of, you know, taking chances away from other groups of people, and that's never sat well with me.
I understand, sadly, you have been getting a lot of hate mail, a lot of negative reaction for even speaking your mind about how you feel since being fired. Can you describe some of that?
People online get very brave. You know, they can very easily say terrible things to you that they would never in a million years say to anyone's face. I've had people tell me that, you know, they hope that I never have a child and that I got exactly what I deserve. And as much as all of the terrible comments have been coming through, I've also received an immense amount of support, especially from women who have gone through IVF, who struggle with infertility.
Again, I don't hear anything in this conversation about a husband. I don't hear anything in this conversation about a man. I don't hear anything in this conversation about any other conservative values other than you expecting for Trump to pay for whatever it is, IVF treatment that you have going on. I don't hear anything at all. I don't hear anything about any of this. I call Cap, and I don't believe her. And more importantly, I think that she's more of a liberal than she are a conservative, but then they always want to cloak it and say that they're an independent and then voted for Trump. I'm not going for it. I don't believe it. Anyways, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read a few of these super chats, and I'm going to get y'all up out of here for today. She's a plant because Kamala ran on women's rights and how Trump was going to take their rights away. Absolutely. And then you would see Tim Walz on every single thing, giving that same speech over and over again. I 100% agree. Bella B says, I was at a Times Square Trump rally and some random guy asked me to lie about not being able to vote because I'm a Republican, and she's definitely a pawn. Mr. Campbell says she needs to come to terms with that God doesn't want her to have children, not Trump. I like that Coogee. Oh, I got that same Coogee, big dog. You must be from Detroit. Mr. Campbell, Mr. Anderson, you must be from Detroit. I like that Coogee. I'm able to spot my Coogees. That's a dope Coogee. So someone says something mean to her online. Is she new to the internet? Yeah, you can't be you would be surprised at the amount of people that are angry. They get online, they say some wild stuff, they give their opinion, they give the middle finger, and then all of a sudden they a victim. All of a sudden they're a victim. I'm telling you, it happens every day, probably over the last few years, almost every single day, I get a video or I get a notification from YouTube saying somebody doesn't like what you said. You know, is it an address or something privacy concerned that's inside of this that would, you know, lead them to believe this? And before we inspect the video, let you know that somebody filed a privacy concern about them being in the video. Every single day, almost every day, I get a notification from YouTube that's basically like, hey man, somebody else, somebody is mad that you somebody is mad that you reacted to their video and they feeling some type of way about it. How do you feel, real quick? Every single day. They'll jump online, give all of their opinions, say everything. They'll give the middle finger to their employer, all of that stuff. And then, you just supposed to shut up and dribble. And that's the end of the conversation. Happens all the time. All the time. Let me see if I can find an example. There we go. Here's one. Here, let me see if I can share it with you guys. Why not? See if here we go. We would like to inform you that we received a privacy concern about your content. Before we review the content, we would like to give you the opportunity to review, if necessary, modify or remove any potentially private information with the reported content. Receiving this notice does not imply a violation of YouTube privacy guidelines, and no action will be taken against your content at this time. So then they'll send me the video. I'll go and check out the video, and it'll be some woman that gave the middle finger, her in the middle, for example, her right here. And then, and see, the thing is, use YouTube's custom blurring tool to blur anything in the video, all of this stuff. So these people will do whatever it is that they do. Your video will then go viral, right? Your video will go viral, and then you'll go through and see what they said. Now, here's the caveat. Let's say, for example, somebody reached out to me and say, oh man, you know what? Like if somebody authentically reached out to me, because this happened before, somebody will reach out to me and say, you know what, Anton, I said something crazy. I shouldn't have said that online. You know what? I thought about it. I want to remove it. Because let's be clear, the internet is forever. Look at this. I reported you one time when you timed me out. Get out of your feelings. Get out of your feelings. Let's say, for example, they go in. Hold on. Let me see something really quickly. I just want to check this out real quick. If they reached out to me and they said, yo, Anton, I said something crazy. I'm about to see if I can pull up Trump and Zelenskyy.
And it's wonderful.
Give me a second. I'm about to switch over.
Badly about somebody else, but I want to get it solved. If we can solve it, great. If we can't solve it, they're going to have to fight it out, and who knows what's going to happen. But I want to see it get solved.
May I follow up? One more question about U.S. troops in Europe. After Russian invasion of Ukraine, your predecessor sent additional troops to Eastern Europe, including Poland, my country. Yeah. Are you committed to keeping these troops on the eastern flank of NATO in the future?
I'm very committed to Poland. I think Poland has really stepped up and done a great job for NATO. They, as you know, they paid more than they had to. They are one of the finest groups of people I've ever known. I'm very committed to Poland.
What about Baltics?
Poland's in a tough neighborhood, you know.
What about the Baltics?
The Baltics.
This is live, y'all. This is live.
They got a lot of. It's a tough neighborhood too. but we're committed. We're going to be very committed, and we're committed to NATO. But NATO has to step up, and the Europeans have to step up more than they have. And I want to see them equalize because they are in for far less than we're in, and they should be at least equal. You understand that? Why is the United States, we have an ocean in between. Why is the United States in for so much more money and other things as Europe? With that being said, and as you said, they've also been obviously very helpful, but we have put in far more than they have. And I think they should equalize.
Mr. President,
please go ahead.
Ask you about the agreement again today. What changed between the first time that Secretary Bessent gave President Zelenskyy the agreement and today for the signing?
We made a deal. So
What was the
I'm just,
deciding factor?
I'm a business person. We made a deal. That's what changed.
Mr. President,
I didn't think we were going to make a deal, and we ended up making the deal. So that changed.
Mr. President, what and how do you envision a trilateral summit with President Zelenskyy and Putin?
I don't know,
under
but
these
well, they
circumstances?
don't like each other. I can tell you that. They do not like each other. This is not a love match, and it's unfortunate. That's why you're in this situation. The United States should not have allowed this to happen. Okay, the United States, run by a man that didn't know much. I'm going to be very nice. Run by an incompetent person, very incompetent person, should never have allowed this to happen. I've stopped wars. I've stopped many wars. My people will tell you, I stopped wars that nobody ever heard about. I stopped wars before they ever started. You can look at some of, I could give you a lot of nations that would tell you right now they were probably going to war. I could tell you right now there's a nation thinking about going to war on something that nobody in this room has ever even heard about. Two smaller nations, but big, still big. And I think I've stopped it. But this should have never happened.
Sorry, just a second. About any negotiations. First of all, I want really to tell you, and I think that everybody understands that Ukraine, modern Ukrainians, nobody wants to stop this war. But at the future, any negotiations, it's understandable that two sides of the war, not Russia and the United States, because this is not the war between Russia and the United States. This is war of Russia against Ukraine and Ukrainian people. So these two sides will be at the will be at the negotiation table. Then of course United States, like the strongest partner of the Ukraine, and of course Europe. I think Europe is very important. I want to speak about it with the president. Yes, Europe is very important for us because we really defend Europe for today. All Europeans really recognize that we are defending the line and they have real life and our people are dying. That's why they helped us. And also it's about the NATO. Yes, between, like the president said, you have big, nice ocean. Yes, between us. But if we will not stay, Russia will go further to Baltics and to Poland, by the way, but first to the Baltics. It's understandable for them because they've been in the USSR. You know, they've been one of the republics of the USSR, and Putin wants to bring them back to his empire. It's a fact. And when he will go there, if we will not stay, you will fight. Your American soldiers, it doesn't matter, do you have ocean or not, your soldiers will fight.
Mr. President, would you be willing to visit Ukraine, maybe Kyiv or Odessa, which is known to be a third year of the Black Sea?
It was my question.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to talk about Odessa now. Let's not talk about Odessa. I want to talk about making a deal, getting peace. We don't have to talk about Odessa, but a lot of cities have been destroyed. A lot of cities that are not recognizable. There's not a building standing.
No.
And a lot of
things. Mr. President, you have to come and to look. No. We have very good cities. Yes, a lot of things been destroyed, but mostly cities alive and people work and children go to school. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes closer to front line, children have to go to underground schools or online, but we live. Ukraine is fighting and Ukraine lives. This is very important. And maybe it's Putin is sharing this information that he destroyed us. No, he lost 700,000 people, 700,000 soldiers. He lost everything. Yes.
Mr. President, one more. I mentioned Poland.
Please, go ahead.
When did you last speak with President Putin? And what did he say that?
A couple of days ago.
And what did he tell you that gave you the assurance that he wanted peace?
Well, that's what I do. My whole life is deals. I know pretty good. And I've known him for a long time. I've dealt with him for a long time. He had to suffer through the Russia hoax. You know, Russia was a hoax. It was all Biden. It was nothing to do with him. So he had to suffer through that, and he was able to do that. I think that he wants to make a deal, and he'd like to see it end. That's all I do. That's what I do. My whole life, that's what I do is make deals. And I'm in the middle of a mess because this is a real mess. It's a very dangerous one. If this doesn't get solved now, it's not going to get solved for a long time. So I hope we're going to get it solved. In the back, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Prime Minister Starmer claims repeatedly that his government believes in free speech and was not engaged in censorship. But his country's government arrests people for memes and thought crimes, and even more worrisome is pressuring American companies to censor Americans on his behalf. How can he be a reliable, trustworthy partner when he says things that are demonstrably false on such an important topic?
Well, we actually spoke to him about that yesterday, and we thought they took it very, very much too far. JD was very strong on it. So was I. So was Marco. And we've been speaking to him about it. Marco, would you like to say something about that?
We have concerns, obviously, with the conduct of those, particularly as it impacts Americans. And there's real concern that American speech, which is online, could fall into the hands of British or any country's jurisdiction. And so this is a point the Vice President made of Munich, and I think it's a very compelling one, that what unites us with Europe, as much as anything else, is these shared values, and one of them being free speech. And so if Americans are threatened by it, we're going to need to take action in that regard.
It's actually a very important question.
We spoke about this in detail with the Prime Minister, the Foreign Secretary, and others at lunch yesterday. And I know that Secretary of Commerce Lutnick followed up in private meetings last night. This is really important. We believe Americans have the right to speak their mind, even if we in this room disagree with them. They have the right to speak their mind in the public square, which is often online these days. And we're going to defend that right as it pertains to American companies and American citizens vigorously if we have to. I do think that under the president's leadership, we're going to find common ground with our friends in the UK on this question, but it remains to be seen. The principle that will guide us is we believe in free speech in this country, and we'll fight for it for American citizens.
Mr. President, on the deal, is there any other oil and gas component to the deal? Is it all critical?
A little bit. We'll see.
On LNG?
But we're not really looking for that so much. We got a lot. We have more than anybody in the world by far. So no, we're not talking about it too much, but a little bit. I think it affects also, but for the most part, no.
And sir, is there any agreement from Ukraine to purchase U.S. LNG as part of the deal, or is that on the table at all?
No, we don't need that.
Mr. President, I just wanted to ask you about it. You just mentioned that you guys spoken to Vladimir Putin a couple of days ago. Just to be clear, that's a new call, not the one that you...
I've spoken to him on numerous occasions.
Okay. And how was the latest call? What did you discuss? How did it go?
Are you serious with that question?
I am. I'd love to know.
It went well. I think we're going to have a deal.
On the minerals deal, Mr. President, some of those minerals are in the east of Ukraine, not far from the front lines and in areas that Russia has occupied. Will you direct President Putin to withdraw his forces from those areas if there's U.S. interest?
Well, we'll take a look at the time. We have a lot of area. It's a very big area we're talking about. So we'll take a look. I'll study that and I'll see.
And who would protect those minerals if they are U.S. interests? Would that be Ukrainian forces?
They'll be protected. The agreement will protect them.
US
the agreement, yeah, we're signing an agreement.
Right, but what if Russia tries to invade or there's Russian aggression in those spots?
I just told you, I don't think that's going to happen. And if that were going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal. If I thought that was going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal.
Some people may wonder why.
You know, they ought to focus on CNN on survival, not asking me these ridiculous questions. Focus on surviving, because CNN's got such low ratings. I don't think they're going to survive. Let's go. Please,
Poland. Poland is under Russian control.
Oh, Jesus, Lord, have mercy.
When I was a kid, I looked at the United States, not only as a most powerful country, richest country in the world, the country that has great music, great movies, great muscle cars, but also as a force for good. Do you, and now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough, but you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy.
I knew it.
We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy.
Talk
That's
about
what
it.
President Trump is doing.
I say it all the time.
Sure.
Diplomacy.
Okay.
Said it before he said it.
He occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump.
I'm on it, right?
Now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
that's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come to the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine? Did you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem.
What the fuck is happening right now?
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From
it.
the very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position.
I
You don't
was-
have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III. You're
speaking
gambling
about?
with
What are you
World
speaking
War III. And
Yeah.
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country is
Can I-
in big
can-
trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn
We-
good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said thank-
stupid president, $350 billion.
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your
military equipment, and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave, but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of
Except
times
that
thank
there,
you
except
to
that-
American people.
Except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements.
What am
rather
I
than trying
watching
to
right
fight it out
now?
in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You
I'm-
don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't, please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But
But
you're
I
saying
said-
you don't want a
But I
ceasefire.
said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire.
guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
with you.
a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your-
with,
this
that
is
was with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President.
It's going to be a tough deal to make because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks?
I can't believe I'm watching this in real time. It's the most transparent shit that I've ever seen in the White House. You don't get the behind the scenes.
What
of
are you
it.
saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting.
Shit.
And then they said, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right. We'll see what we can do about putting it together. We'll see. I don't know. Guys, come on.
What about that? What about that shit right there? Oh my gosh. Yo, they let the reporters in there so that they could witness exactly what be happening behind the scenes. No more of this hiding. Yo, this is the most transparent thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. Now we understand why Trump called Zelenskyy a dictator. Remember when all of the reports that was coming out and they were saying, I can't believe that Trump called Zelenskyy a dictator? It's because he ain't really trying to get peace. He don't want peace. And Trump is like, listen, fam, you don't have no more cards to play. We not giving you no more money. And Trump told him straight up, Trump said, listen, the only reason you tough right now is because we got your back. We empowered you to be a tough guy. Remember who you talking to. This is the best president, Ash. This is the best president of all time. I know I cursed. I'm sorry, Paula. I cursed on this Millionaire Morning Show. It's Friday. Hopefully the kids is out of school or something. I don't know. But this is the type of stuff that I like to see. I want to see what's really happening behind the curtain. I want to see, because the media will then take it, CNN, MSNBC, they'll take it and they'll spin it and they'll say something like, well, I can't believe Trump calls Zelenskyy a dictator. Well, now you get to see it. He ain't call him a dictator for no reason. It's because he's not thankful. He don't got no cards to play. He talking tough and he putting his people at risk instead of realizing that, yo, fam, you are done. You are done. The only reason you exist, the only reason that your whole country is not wiped off of the map is because I'm standing here next to you. Who you talking to? And then JD Vance jumped in and said, man, you ain't thankful. You need to be thankful. You could be gone right now. Sign the mineral rights deal. Sign that mineral rights deal. Get this war over and get your people back home. The number one thing, let me say this, and this is what leadership really looks like. We talk about leadership a lot of times, but leadership is not in finding wars to fight. Leadership is finding wars to end so that your people don't have to die, so that the women is not getting raped, so that the kids is not getting massacred and then told that they got to go and be in some kind of gang or war or whatever. And then they start to they think differently and now they become the new terrorists of the 21st century. Yo, man. Man, oh man, oh man. He got to get his people home. He got to get his people home. You can't keep perpetuating a war that the people going to suffer from. You got to allow for people to be able to live another day. Every day there's some new people that's dying because you want to be tough and you arguing back and forth in the White House. You in my house being disrespectful? Oh, man. Yo, I love this. I love this game. Let me read some of the super chats. Y'all. That was crazy. I wasn't expecting it. That was happening in real time. That was crazy. That's the left sending those hateful messages. Shout out to y'all. Big J all day says, is there any tips on if I should do cybersecurity or engineering? Go into cybersecurity. I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared of applying to school as I never applied to college. You got it. You just got to dedicate yourself. It's just like riding a bike, and it get easier over time, bro. I promise you. Rich Steve says Trump's second term going way better than the first, and it's only been a month and a week. Crazy. Yoshi says he just got booted from the White House. Poor Caitlin Collins. We got the first millionaire overtime show because of Trump making history right before our eyes. Trump just told Zelenskyy we supposed to sign a deal. Oh, you ain't ready to sign and get the F out of my house. Wait, I'm president. You can get out of my country too. This sounds like a tribunal. If I'm president, ain't no way a VP talking to me like that. Yeah, JD, put him in his place. AD, this is the best segment. That was crazy. So for all the people that left, we still got like 4,000, more than 4,000 people here. They got the right one and two. Trump is like, what you want to do? Hey, yo, Trump. And could y'all imagine Kamala Harris sitting in that? Could y'all imagine what Kamala Harris would do if she was sitting in there? This is why you need men in leadership. Honest to goodness. This is why you need men in leadership. Trump and Vance is going off. Trump and JD not having that BS. 80 they on his A. Over $300 billion to Ukraine, but nothing for the American people struggling to make ends meet. Everybody, Gerald Davis says, everybody that works in the Fed sector know upon starting, you must acknowledge while under probation, you can be terminated without merit. For under 2 years, you must sign that disclaimer. That's a fact. First term, Trump is coming back out. Twitter about to get entertaining again. That's my president. Uncle Trump ain't playing. Javelins. Fade, can we agree that this is the best president? Yes, we can, Ashley. You either get down or you laying down. That's what a president looks like. I'm with Trump on this one. You can't want the United States to help you all while insulting us. Don't back down. Shout out to Silent Sniper. I rock with you. AD, did you see Zelensky's face? Uncle Donald Trump, a straight gangster. Anton, have you seen Paradise? No, I've been actually, you know what's so funny? I got it on my phone to watch. I just came across a video about it the other day. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. I had earmarked that to get into it. I think it's on Hulu or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I can find it. This one right here. Yeah, I had earmarked it to watch it, so I am pretty. I'm getting into it. I think you would appreciate it in reference to what Zelenskyy mentioned in that meeting. Yeah, we gonna get there. That's my mother effing president. We just seen something that I don't think we will ever see again while I'm alive. You want to be talking about what we supposed to be talking about in the back. Okay, say thank you. He is sending that man Zelenskyy, get up. This is wild. JD came in with the backup. Yo, Trump, JD just tag team that man. Biden could never. Shout out to JD Vance too. He's setting himself up a 2028 presidency if he decide to. Zelenskyy the first get knocked out in the black Air Force Ones. Anton, would you consider making an updated interview like a king video? I can do that. Y'all want me to do an updated interview like a king video? I can do that. I can absolutely do that. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon tomorrow morning. We got a live stream this weekend for Block Club. What an exciting freaking week, man. Oh, I'm excited. I'm super excited. Seek the Light says, that's what Trump-Zelenskyy interaction shows me, that Biden was compromised. Zelenskyy was talking smart because he was used to having something over the head of the president of the United States of America. It's a different regime now, though. It's a different regime. Woo! Man, I love this game. I love what I do for a living. I love it. 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 Anyways, listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tap into After Hours tonight. So we got After Hours tonight. That's going to be popping. It's going to be me and a few friends. I might invite a guest. I might invite a friend on. See what I can do. Maybe give me some new blood on there. But I know that it's going to be me, Quentin, Slimmy, Molly, we all definitely going to be on there. It's going to be fun. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace. Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy stream.